So we can do what's Hondo on the mic from Leo's Paradise. Random stream drop like a Dragon Ball fight. No lie, plan stream stacking up, but here's a twist in time. Freestyling on the deck like Luffy's punchlines. Up the channels, faster than Zoro sword swings. Gaming pop culture, it's the chaos he brings. Talking movie reboots, superhero hype. Hondo passing the mic, now Bishop's in sight. Cutting glitch screen, frame by frame, I align. Laying bass lines heavy, keep the rhythm divine. Dropping 5 videos, can't keep up with the pace. Pass the mic back, Leo's leading the chase. Off the rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. No script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. The rails, no script, just a freestyle rhyme. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life.
Finally, we made it to the lunch hour. How are all you vital idols doing? Well, the camera's off center. There we go. There we go. That is right. Your boys returned. We're late today. We're late. About an hour and 20 minutes late. I apologize. I had one hell of an evening last night. After the dope-ass stream that happened yesterday, shout out to everybody that showed up to that. Hung out backstage for a little bit, made some dinner. Around 8 o'clock rolls around, dude, and I sit down to watch Hypnocasts, and dude, I passed the fuck out, man. I passed out, and I woke up, and it was like 1 in the morning. And of course, you wake up 1 in the morning, you don't really fall back asleep. So I end up passing out again around like 8 a.m. and just slept through everything. I didn't prep. I didn't prepare. It is already off to a whack-ass start today. But we here. We ain't putting anything on the back burner. Boy got himself that green tea. No sugar. Hope you're getting plenty of protein in your lunch hour. Although at this point, the lunch hour is pretty much over unless you're in like California, but it's still gonna be a good show and it's still gonna be a good day. We're gonna be talking some more Resident Evil Requiem. That story is not dying, and mainly because I'm seeing a lot of discourse around the game that, while I technically agree, I also don't think it's worth having. We're gonna talk about the Joe Rogan news, how he just absolutely bodied Steve-O on the trans debate. We got a whole lot more. But first, let's see what we got in the house. We got Jackass G22s is here. Matt Stanford, shout out. St. Hugo up in this bitch. Gal Carrymon. Ghost of Valhalla. The King Alucard. Koto Dragon. Eagle Lord is here. Man, I'm gonna be real. I can't answer that. It all depends on personal preference. While I've read the One Piece manga, I'm an anime guy. I say read the anime or watch the anime. Some people, like the pacing of the manga better. I don't give recommendations and stuff like that without more information because it's going to be entirely up to the individual. Fallen Angel is here. Shout out, what's up, Fallen Angel? Matt Fun Cool coming in with a 99-cent super sticker. Got just like the eyes glazed over, drooling. That was me when I woke up, dude. That was me when I woke up at like 1 a.m. today and saw Hypno still streaming, but on his gaming channel instead. I was like, what fucking time is it? On the plus side, you got plenty of work done. Made a lot of progress on the Pixel Idols backdrop that's going to be appearing in all the videos. Clipped the video of yesterday's One Piece discussion. That was great. So what is up, UA Alpha Mega? Killer Mike G. Here to tell someone on the stream used to being the operative word. For a grand total of about 3 months. I was not very good at my job. Is subtitles better than the English dub One Piece? No, One Piece got a pretty good English dub. I watch it subbed because it's so much further ahead, and I don't want to sit and wait for the dub. But the dub is good. I got no issue with the dub. Yeah, Carrymon says use sub Eagle Lord. I don't even think that's necessary. I mean, again, it just comes down to personal preference. Some anime is good dubs, some anime is good subs, some have, anime have got both a good sub and a good dub. One Piece has got both. I watch sub, but yeah, I mean, again, personal preference. UF Omega coming in with a $1.49 super sticker of a peach. Shout out. Thank you oh so much. So we got plenty of topics. We got plenty of topics to go over, but I wanna give you guys a little bit of an appetizer, right? I wanna give you guys a little bit of an appetizer, a little moose boosh. Constantine Kissin dismantles Destiny and exposes how manipulative he really is. Any chance we could take, any opportunity to dunk on Destiny will always be a W. Always be a W. Let's go.
Destiny finally sat down with Constantine Kissin.
All right. Actually, hold on. Before we do. Leon doesn't dog dub enjoyers. It depends on the anime. Like we'll move on. We'll do the extra content we got, scheduled or planned. But I want to be explicitly clear. It absolutely depends on the anime. There are some anime, if you enjoy the dub, I will dog on you. Absolutely. Conversely, there are some anime where the dub is objectively better, and I'm tired of, weebs that won't acknowledge that. Like, for example, for Beck Mongolian Job Squad, for Carol and Tuesday, for Cowboy Bebop, hate to tell you, folks, the dub is absolutely better. Like, it's absolutely better. Especially in the case like Beck and Carol and Tuesday, because those are music anime, and the music was made specifically with English in mind. So, like, for the music to work, you need the English singing and English voice acting so that it's got the proper cadence, hits the proper notes, the whole nine. So yeah, it completely depends on the anime, and then somehow, so it depends, basically. It depends. Junebug Loves You coming in with a 10 banger, doesn't even say anything, just whips his dick on the table, drops $10. Absolute legend. This is for you, homie.
How you doing, sir? Good. Can we talk to you? Where are you from? You live in New York?
Who are you?
Don Lemon.
You're a fucking moron, dude.
Shout out, thank you so much for the 10 banger. You didn't need to, you did, means the absolute wild to me. Yeah, hashtag Dub Lives Matter. Let's see, Dad Darn Target's here, shout out. But yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts on that. And yeah, Ghost Stories is an incredible dub. I love the Ghost Stories dub. Alrighty. Now for the content. Constantine Kissin dismantles Destiny and exposes how manipulative he really is. Like I said, any chance we can take to dunk on Destiny, all we gonna do, son. Let's go.
Destiny finally sat down with Constantine Kissin, and this one does not disappoint. When you strip away the filler, the ranting, you can suddenly see the strategy that he's using.
Stripping away the filler in a Destiny monologue will be stripping out 90% of what he says. He only says about 10% of shit even worth commentating on, and that 10% is almost always complete dog shit. So, stripping away the filler, no wonder this is only an 8-minute video.
In the last 35 years, more people came to Britain than came to Britain in the previous 2 millennia.
So there must be a reason. What is the reason? Destiny is going to try and divert away from that at all costs.
Because I hear a lot of these words will be like, it was a lot of people.
Well, hold on.
I was like, what does that mean? Yeah.
I'm explaining it. So
Okay.
more people in 35 years than 2,000 years, that sounds like quite a lot of people. Is
Not
that fair?
necessarily, no.
Is that fair?
No, not really.
How
right?
not really? More people in the last 30 years than in the last 2,000 years. What the fuck does Destiny mean? Not necessarily.
Right.
There's no such thing as a change that is too drastic too quickly because, well, everything changes. This is actually postmodernism.
You don't think that more people coming into a country in 35 years than had come in the previous 2,000 years is quite a lot?
I just think that statement is like vacuous and meaningless. When we say quite a lot, what should it have been less?
Yes. Obviously, that's what the context entails. It should have been less. That's what we mean by quite a lot. Yeah. Like, this is why I loathe Destiny's quote-unquote debate style. It is all obfuscation. It is all, it's not even semantics, because semantics are important when you're debating. Semantics are absolutely important when you're at least good faith debating, because you need to make sure that you can steal each other's positions. You need to make sure that you can be on the same train of thoughts, that you're not arguing past one another. And when you make a statement like, the British, more people have come to the UK in 35 years than the past 2,000 years, just from context alone, that's being presented as a problem. So when he says, should have been less, That's what the fucking context entails. And he knows that. Like, again, he's not doing this because he's dumb. He's doing it because he's a midwit who thinks he's smart and thinks that this is a good diversion tactic.
Who can really say what a lot is? It's just a social construct. Everything's always changing.
If more people have come into a country in 35 years than have come in 2,000 years, that is objectively a lot. Now, you might think it's a good thing. Like, I like ice cream, and if I eat a tub of ice cream, I'm not going to say that's not a lot of ice cream. I still like it, but it's a lot of ice cream.
This is what I enjoy about making these videos, is that I can edit away the filler, and when you do, these dynamics suddenly become so visible.
And again, look, I'm gonna be real. I don't know how long the video is. Let's take a look real quick. Let's see how long the video actually is. Destiny versus didn't even have to. Yeah, right there. All right, Constantine kissing. 2 hours long. 2 hours. So we got Rattlesnake TV, which is Rattlesnake TV is an okay account. I think Rattlesnake TV lets his bias show a lot more than Warren does, if I'm being honest. But even still, he was able to edit it down to 30 minutes. Warren was able to edit it down to 8. Like, what does that tell you about... let's see, was it Destiny humiliates, constant kissing, and fiery debate? So, we got a leftist here. Even the leftist was able to edit it down to 20 minutes. So, even leftists acknowledge that, again, a solid 90% of Destiny's debate tactic is all fluff and filler.
So to be clear, when you say a lot, that's a normative value that's with respect to some kind of norm or when you say a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah, compared to before.
Yeah,
compared
that's
to the entire
objectively
span of the
that is
history of this
objectively
country.
true. It's just kind of a meaningless
thank
statement.
you.
Like
So
everything is a lot
you've
more
accepted
than the
that
past
what I'm saying is
2 millennia.
objectively true. I'm grateful.
Correct. Yes, that's a meaningless statement, but yes.
All he can do is try and paint the picture that the statement a lot doesn't really mean anything.
But it's also true objectively that entire swathes of this city are no longer inhabited by the people who used to live here.
So Constantine goes on to show why it's important.
More people come to Britain illegally today than came legally when I came here in 1996.
He cannot contend with what Constantine laid out at the very
Destiny being unable to continue with an argument, so he needs to obfuscate and likely end up breaking down and yelling and talking incredibly fast, because the faster he talks, the less people can call out his rhetoric. Shocking!
beginning.
So the prompt has to do with basically can a country's culture, whatever, survive mass migration?
And the answer is no. The answer is largely no.
Legal immigrants are not mass migrating here. The mass migration.
They are.
So
I just told you more illegal immigrants come here every year now than legal immigrants came here 30 years ago.
Destiny then pivots his strategy to claim that, well, the number of legal immigrants is so high, of course the number of illegal immigrants is going to be high. Therefore, you have nothing to complain about.
So then are the legal ones mass migrating, or what? Is it just...
The legal immigrants are also mass migrating. It's possible for them
But
both
it's
to be
like
mass
10 to
migrating.
1. You don't see any difference between a legal immigrant versus an illegal immigrant?
No, there's absolutely a difference between a legal immigrant and an illegal immigrant. One of those things is a fucking crime. That's out the gate. That's the difference. One of those things is a crime. Now we can argue they're technically both bad. Some people make that argument. I think there's nuance to the topic. Legal immigration can be fine. I don't think right now it's fine because we see where all these absolute fucking losers are coming from. They're coming from Goat Fuckistan. But that's neither here nor there. In theory, legal immigration can be fine. But the absolute delineation, even if someone came to the UK illegally from fucking like Poland, that would still be bad because it's an illegal immigration.
Well, of course I do.
Okay.
But they are both mass migrating here. They're both coming here in unprecedented numbers.
Now he's going to try and attack the very concept of unprecedented. Everything is unprecedented. Therefore, the word unprecedented does not mean anything.
All right. You know what? Actually, hold on. I'll hear Destiny's debate before I comment on what Warren said.
Everything definitionally is unprecedented as you move forward in years. We have an unprecedented amount of technology, an unprecedented amount of energy generation, an unprecedented amount of
I think you might be confused about the meaning of the word unprecedented.
He's not confused about the word unprecedented. He wants to confuse the audience with the term unprecedented. And again, this is his way of obfuscating and using these midwit linguistic tactics to make you think he's intelligent. Because no, not everything is unprecedented. This is postmodern debate style, like in a nutshell. If you wanted to just strip down postmodernism into its most basic form, It is this right here, trying to take away the ideas and the functions and the logistics of words having meanings and being able to understand context just from the words and their natural meanings. This is it.
Yes,
It's a bit reductive to say, like, well, we have an unprecedented wave of whatever. There's unprecedented things happening
Correct.
definitionally.
We have an unprecedented amount of people supporting Destiny nowadays. That I can do it too.
Every year forward into the future we go.
No, that's
Yes.
not true. One of the most amazing things of arguing with anybody from your position is the extent to which they refuse to understand what words mean. I just explained to you repeatedly what unprecedented means.
In the comments say legal migration is fine if they actually assimilate. Not inherently. No, I would have agreed with you. Shit, I probably would have agreed with you 2 years ago. I was going to say 5 years ago. I would have agreed with you 2 years ago. But no. There comes a cutoff point. There comes a tipping point where even legal migration, and especially if it's accompanied by or coupled with mass illegal migration, there comes a cutoff point where, you know what, even if they were going to assimilate, even if there's a chance they could assimilate, even if we could say with 100% certainty they were going to assimilate, too bad. Too little, too late. It's been fucked up for the rest, so it's not fine. Right? Immigration, capped. Like, if you were to ask me personally, barring very minor exceptions, if I had it my way right now in the U.S., all immigration, legal, illegal, whatever, from anywhere in the world, would be hard cut off. Hard cut off. I could not give a fuck less where you were from if your intentions are the best of the simulation. The only, off the top of my head, exemption I would give is if you were coming here to be married to a U.S. citizen. And that really be the only, a U.S. citizen, not a legal resident, a citizen. So no, the idea that, yes, and that includes big booty Latinas, Valentine. Fuck them. We got plenty of big booty bitches here. We already got a whole lot of big booty Latinas here. Yes, that means everyone. Fucking everyone. Right now, the U.S., and I assume the U.K., though I'm not sure, but the U.S. for sure, is in a situation where immigration we are in such dire straits. Even if we had a 100% certainty that you were going to assimilate, 5-year moratorium on all immigration, period. We're at our max. We're at our limit. Shit's been fucked up. We got too much to fix to be able to handle people coming in, even if it's legal.
It means that it hasn't happened before.
Now he's going to make the argument that everything is always changing. Therefore, this massive spike in change doesn't really matter.
Is there anything in U.S. culture, in British culture, that has remained the same for the past 30, 40, 50, 60 years, for the past 100 years, that doesn't have an unprecedented thing happening constantly?
Absolutely. I mean, that is what a culture is. It was what is preserved over time.
How?
The fuck do you mean how? How are we able to study culture? Let's leave the modern U.S. and U.K. out of it. How are we able to study ancient Sumerian culture, ancient Greek culture, ancient Egyptian culture, if these things weren't preserved in a manner that allowed us to study them? And they had to be consistent for a long enough time for us to confidently say, this is what the culture was like from this period to this period. For this time, I actually don't even think, let's go back, because this time, I don't even think Destiny is trying to obfuscate. I think he's just retarded, because the look of incredulity on his face is actually genuine. It comes off as genuine.
That it doesn't have an unprecedented thing happening constantly.
Absolutely. I mean, that is what a culture is. It was what is preserved over time.
See, does he not look just genuinely confused by this statement? He looks absolutely confused by this statement of something that is measurable.
Oh.
Andrew Wilson said it well. Traditions are the experiments of the past that worked. As the U.S. reaches its 250th anniversary, it's worth taking a second to recognize the people who have helped sustain this country since the beginning. Among them are American ranchers.
All right, y'all know the deal. We let the ad reads play out on this channel because we're going to be stealing their content. We may as well give them the ad. I do want to point out, though, I was talking about how he cut this video down to 8 minutes from a 2-hour debate. It's actually even less than that because part of this video is an ad read.
economic instability, wars, natural disasters, ranchers have continued on to feed this country. And that tradition lives on today through Good Ranchers. Good Ranchers sources all of their meat from American farmers and ranchers. Every cut is processed, packaged, and delivered right here in the U.S. Even their customer support team is based domestically. And Good Ranchers donates a portion of their profits to veteran organizations. I have now subscribed to Good Ranchers myself, and it is excellent. I really enjoy steak, so I appreciate how easy this is to manage. I can just pause deliveries and order more or make whatever changes I need. Their system is built to accommodate schedules. To support a company that's committed to honoring America's past, present, and future, visit goodranchers.com today. When you start your plan, you'll get to pick a free meat to include in every order for life. Plus, you'll get $25 off your first order if you use my code Warren. That's code Warren for $25 off your first order. Goodranchers.com, American meat delivered.
A culture is what people do without having been told to do so by a law. It's,
Can you? Yeah, but what is an example of a culture that is unchanging?
So because cultures change in some way over time, we have no right to care about a massive, rapid change.
Well, okay, so
now.
To be fair to Destiny, I think Warren's critique here is the wrong critique. Destiny asks for an example of something in a country that, a culture that didn't change over a large period of time. All right. How about our like for starters, our Christian-based ethics when it comes to how the Constitution is written and how it, in theory, should be employed. That hasn't changed. Like even for the most secular of individuals in this country, they are subconsciously operating, by and large, normally, obviously there's variances here, on a Judeo-Christian ethical base framework because that is what they've been raised on. That is what this entire nation has been founded on, and that's the way it has been for nearly, 300 years. So yes, now again, there's going to be variances, and there's a whole lot of people pushing against that right now, but the norms have more or less stayed that way. Absolutely. The idea of American exceptionalism, what's a tradition that stayed the same in cultures for all these years? I don't know, like you could just say the Olympics. The Olympics has more or less stayed the same for all cultures that compete in them for all these several years. Many of the popular foods that we eat that are considered, American cuisine have been the same for many years. Consumer culture. Consumer culture really ain't changed. Whether you consider a positive aspect of the culture or not is irrelevant. Consumer culture has been the same for roughly 50 years, if not more. I just listed like 4 off the top of my head.
That is his logic.
I feel like cultures are evolving all the time. It's definitionally a part of culture. If you have a brother, both of you will be different for your entire lives. But
there would be a family.
It's not comparing a familial and how you live your lives isn't a culture. Me and my sister have chosen very different paths in life. So me and my brother. So me and my other sister. In fact, of all 6 of my siblings, or 5 of my siblings, there's 6 of us total. Of all of us, we have all chosen radically different life paths. However, we still all operate relatively similarly in the grand scheme of things within the American culture.
The culture that you have that's different to other families.
But you wouldn't be the same as you were when you were 10 years old.
No,
you
you
would grow
wouldn't.
and change, right?
Growing and changing as an individual does not map on to the growths and changes of culture. And no, there are not 6 Leons. I'm the black sheep of the family.
So when you talk about
but you're still the
preserving
same
culture,
person, right?
What?
You're still the same person.
Yeah, but you're dramatically changed.
But you're still the same.
No.
Yes, actually, by and large, most people are relatively the same. There's at least in the aspect of there's immutable things that don't change.
Pretty clear what Constantine is trying to say here. You are the same person, regardless of how you change in life.
Are you the same as you were 10 or 15 years ago? What do you mean by that? The same. You're not unchanged, right?
This is what it feels like to talk to a postmodernist.
Are you pretending to be a moron, or are you actually being one?
So your claim was that we need to preserve culture because cultures aren't supposed to change.
No, that's not my claim.
He never said that. Notice how Destiny spins the claim to something that Constantine never said.
My question is, over the past 30 or 40 years, what are things that have changed in American or British culture that you...
No, your question... See, Destiny's lying again. His question was, what hasn't changed? Earlier, he specifically said, give me examples of something, of aspects of culture that haven't changed in the last 30 to 40 years. And now near the end, he is reframing it and spinning it as, yeah, tell me some things that have changed. That is the direct opposite of what you asked at the beginning. Also, thank you for you guys giving me the bless yous and Gazoon heights and stuff.
Bill over the past 200 years before that were unchanging.
Okay.
Essentially, Destiny's argument is everything changes, therefore you should embrace the change. This is inevitable, therefore you can't
UF
have a
Omega for a
problem.
5 banger says Destiny doesn't understand being the same because he can't figure out if he likes sausage or roast beef more. No, I don't think that it's that he can't figure it out. I think you're close. I think that he knows internally that he likes sausage more. What he can't figure out is how to present to the world that he acknowledges that he likes sausage more. That's the difference. But I get where you're going with that, UF Omega. Thanks a mil. Yeah, he can't admit it. Exactly, Valiant Goat. But I appreciate the 5-banger, homie. Truly appreciate it. This is for you.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
You love to see it. Thank you.
One of the things that has changed in Britain over the last 30 years is we now have extensive number of Islamist terrorist attacks, mass stabbings, mass rape of British girls by Islamist and Muslim grooming gangs. This is not something that happened in this culture before.
You're not understanding. You're not following the conversation.
Stephen.
Again, distract from what is most important here, the fact that we are seeing a massive, rapid transformation, the likes of which we have never seen before.
Answer my question. If 500,000 girls have been mass raped in this way, specifically being targeted because they were not of a particular religion or ethnicity, how many of them would have to be treated in this way for you to admit that it's a mass thing?
Constantine is pointing out a massive, rapid alteration in an effort to identify what is causing that alteration. Well, everything changes, so therefore you can't have a problem with this massive, rapid change that is unprecedented.
Conservatives, you play this game.
We see this bear out in biology. Like, let's take an objective biological stance to it. Massive, rapid changes can happen in context of, let's say, tumorous growths. If you have a tumorous growth that the cells are rapidly growing and dividing in a mutated manner, and that is the cancer, that is the tumor, that is a negative. Like, that is an objective net negative. There's a biological analogy to how something that is a massive rapid growth can be an objective negative.
You falsely identify a problem, you lie to the audience about it, and then you manage to gain power. You go through with some wacky scheme. Go figure, the wacky scheme doesn't fix anything, and then somehow you come back with the same recycled...
What wacky scheme and what gaining of power is he referring to? The UK has been absolutely butt-fucked in regards to immigration because the people have no power. There's been no changing of the power. There's only been an evolution of the existing net negative power structure that is the leftist regime in the UK. What is he talking about?
Narratives over and over again asking for another shot at it.
He's just going to turn this into a political game about conservatives vying for power.
Yeah, that was that. That was that. Relatively good video. I do think that Warren made one key issue in terms of attacking one of Destiny's arguments, but that's okay because I fixed that issue for him. That being said, there's the link. Make sure you give it a like, give it a sub, the whole nine. Warren makes good content. I enjoy it. It's a very nice, streamlined sort of debate style thing that you can, again, really parse with the weeds. I can contest with that a whole lot better than having to sit down and actively try and listen to Destiny sound smart for 2 hours. We gotta get into more important things. Because what's more important than UK women and girls being raped by Muslims? It's not sexist when we do it. Why thirsting over Leon is okay, but how hot women are not. Now here's the dealio. Out the gate, I have an unpopular opinion on this. I was talking about it on X last night. Is this a truth? Is there a double standard here? Is this part of the problem with Resident Evil? And obviously by many game series and franchises going forward. Yes. Should this be talked about with Resident Evil, especially in regards to Requiem? Not really. I'm gonna be real. Not really. Like, for me, this is so far down the line on the list of issues with Resident Evil Requiem that I think this is kind of a bullshit angle of attack when coming at this game. And I mean, no shade to Archcast. I like him fine. He's been on Countercast. I haven't seen this video, so maybe I'm not entirely sure how he'll attack it. But out the gate, I'm against the framing of this argument when making criticism about Resident Evil 9 because there are so many worse things about it.
The latest Resident Evil is a smash success. But some have noticed a slight disparity in how the mainstream Western gaming media is talking about its two main characters, as one might even say that they are being deeply sexist and outright goonerish over one of the two. Leon, of course. Now the reasons for this is rather obvious and well established in left-wing doctrine, and we're going to talk about that of course, but we're also going to talk about the deeper issue at hand here, as this isn't merely just the left being hypocritical, as make no mistake, this makes perfect sense within the left-wing way of viewing the world.
And while this is true, while this is absolutely true, so far I don't have any issue with his logic. I do have an issue when it is levied against something that has much deeper issues. Because if you take something like Concord is a very obvious example. If you take something like Concord and you want to make the argument about the uglification of females in gaming, and then counterintuitively the left or just the online social space, thirsting over male characters. That game is built entirely on the visual aspects of these criticisms. Like this is an inherent obvious, hey, we made this for you, leftists. Resident Evil, it's not so obvious that that's the case, and there are far bigger issues.
But it actually has also to do with a deeper malaise upon Western society with how we view male sexuality and, more importantly, male romance. So, let's begin diving into it, shall we? With, one of the most obvious examples, Resident Evil 4 no longer sexualizing its women. That is a good thing. Meanwhile, the same outlet, Leon has definitely still got it, as Resident Evil Requiem fans are already going feral over his biceps. Rightio then. And this is hardly the only one. In fact, you can go around the internet. Resident Evil Requiem sets series record on Steam, with a peak 260,000 fans here to spend time with hot Uncle Leon. Resident Evil's hot Uncle Leon is due to female developers. The thirst for Resident Evil Leon as Kennedy is out of control, says Polygon, a site that has spent a tremendous amount of time and energy over the years shaming you for being a sexist, evil gooner male. We've also got Kotaku coming in hot and heavy here as well. Leon Scott Kennedy, I'm on prep with the following phrase, and I am sorry, but according to writer Kenneth Shepard, for me, this meant having Leon Kennedy on low health so I could hear all the pained grunting sounds he makes as he struggles to make his way through the environment for reasons.
So, again, when we're looking at how all these massive amounts of media outlets are talking about Leon, this is very strange to me. Like, I understand the concept of calling out the hypocrisy, because it absolutely is hypocritical, right? For them to write about male characters like this, while on the other side of their mouth, demonize anyone who dares speak about female individuals like this. Not even individuals, video game characters, because they're not fucking real. Yes, like, the hypocrisy is on full display, and calling out that hypocrisy is fine. In fact, it is a good thing. But the sheer amount of individuals I've seen on quote-unquote the right or the anti-woke side or whatnot that are making this their entire argument for why the game is bad, or for why the game is bad, is a huge issue. Because if you were to make, let's say that they were to make Grace like a bombshell character, right? Eve from Stellar Blade, or even just more attractive in the Jill from Resident Evil 3. I'm talking the original Resident Evil 3, or Jill from the Resident Evil 1 remake, right? Sheva from Resident Evil 5. If they made Grace more in that realm, that wouldn't fix this game in any way, shape, or form. And we're seeing a whole lot. Let me see if I can find it, right? Let me see if I can find it. An account that I'm not really a fan of, has been spurging out about this. Where is this account? Is it? Damn, I don't remember the name of the actual account itself. What is Manga Lawyer's actual account? Shit, this is gonna bother the fuck out of me. There's Regina from Dino Crisis. I mean, yeah, you're talking about a 30-year-old game. Here you go. Learning the Law. This right here. This account. At Manga Lawyer. All right. Let's scroll through. All right. So, here's Capcom's new standard for Resident Evil. Their new department is named Rules for Thee and Not for Me. Nobody demanded the new female protagonist in Requiem be the next Eve, but the shapeless form they gave Grace while the tourists scream, she's a geek, she sits all day in a chair, while Leon parries missiles and is full of muscles shows the clear double standard. 100% downgrade. This insanity that Capcom get away with everything when they're literally a track record for every female character censorship and how they've aggressively going conservative with just one gender. Let's see. Where's another one? Because he has been on a crusade about this. Nintendo and Kotaku can openly and publicly give weird sexual connotations to Leon and Resident Evil Requiem. Now imagine if 2026 had female standards of 2009. The first journal sitting for Sheva will get their ass fired and disappear from Earth like playing High Guard on a Monday morning. Let's see. I'm sure we can find more. A Capcom survey showed 85% of gamers were male. And between Japan and the West, they asked for attractive characters. They gave all the budget to women thirsting over Leon and made Grace with chicken legs. If you call this out, you'll face fans who learned about the Resident Evil franchise 2 days ago. All right, let's see. I know he's done more. Keep scrolling through here. Scrolling X be dangerous, baby. Scrolling X live be dangerous. Let's see. All right. No, you can't just give mild criticism to Grace from Resident Evil Requiem. Don't you understand? It's better than The Last of Us 2 at least. You don't have to have my standards. Here's Capcom Golden Era, so sit down and learn 6 out of 10, Mr. Simp. This game blackpilled me. Years of showing how female fan service was erased from most franchises only to be mocked for it. Now sexualizing men is praised, while simps treat most mid-female characters like the holy grail of gaming. The game made billions. We'll never go back. Again, that's just one account. I'm seeing this everywhere. Do you honestly think, and for those of you that watched my Resident Evil 9 review, especially you guys, you'll know what I'm talking about. Do y'all honestly think that if Grace was some hottie with a body, looked like Sheva from Resident Evil 5, that would make the game good? Would the game be good just magically from bad to good? And guys, it is bad. If Grace instead looked like this. If they made that one singular change, would that make the game good? No. No, it wouldn't. You could say it would help. I don't think it would. I know you're saying that with laughter, so maybe you're being facetious, but there are people that do think it would help. I find this mindset fucking retarded. Like, if it'd be like, hey, the game may be bad, but if she was hot, at least that would offset some. No! If people's mentality for narrative-driven single-player games boils down to, I'll forgive a bad story, I'll forgive alterations to canon, I'll forgive bad characterization because the characters are hot, fuck you. That's the same mentality that the left has when it comes to storytelling. We'll forgive bad storytelling. We'll forgive bad characters as long as it's got enough trans representation, as long as it's got enough black people. It is quite literally the exact same mentality, but on the other side of the aisle. And I'm seeing this just massive influx of these, again, right-wing or anti-woke or whatever you want to call them, accounts. That this is their main fucking argument against Resident Evil 6. Grace doesn't have big knockers. Now, what I like it if she were attractive, or more so, or not even more attractive, because she's not unattractive. Just what they do is they dress her and frame her in a way that makes her look mediocre, covered up, conservative, you know, whatever. That being said, that wouldn't make the game in and of itself better. I would like Capcom to give equal treatment, sure, but it would not make the game better. And the idea of completely ignoring all these far more important issues, canon, characterization, retcons, all of that, basic plot structure, beginning, middle, and end that follows logical consistency. The idea that the right wing or the anti-woke or whatever would forgive all of that just in lieu of Grace having bigger titties, that is such a fucking problem for me. No, but it's a plus. If it's a balance of both, I don't think so. She's pretty but bland. Nothing wrong with Grace. Well, no, there's plenty wrong with Grace. I just don't think it comes down to her looks. I just don't want to be called gooner for wanting to try to win in my games by women who are gooning for Leon. But you're focusing on the wrong thing. They're going to call you a gooner either fucking way. They're going to call you a gooner either way, and they're still going to fucking flick their bean to Leon. It doesn't matter what you goon for. The issue they're going to have with you is that you're gooning, and it's rules for thee and not for me. So, by having the same standard as them, but just on the opposite side, the fuck does that actually accomplish? Didn't you know, Leon, if you're a flat-chested woman, you're woke? Grace is cute, not hot. Most of the time cute, but hot. Story won't disagree there. You two won't let me super chat this. Well, here's the dealio. In most Resident Evil games, the default look of the female characters isn't hot. That's usually reserved for things like this. Alternate costumes, special, like if we were to go to, let's see. Let's do Jill Valentine, alternate costumes, RE3 PS1. Alright. Open image, a new tab. Ah, damn it, it's so small. Hold on a sec. That's what she said. Damn it, this one's pretty small too. Fuck me, dude. Whatever, we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. You guys can deal. It's gonna be pixelated, but y'all can deal. So, this is her normal outfit. Yeah, she's wearing a tube top and whatnot. It's not over-the-top sexy. She's not a bombshell. She's no fucking Eve. She's wearing a tube top and a skirt. Now, here you got the black latex. You got the cleavage showing. You got even more cleavage and shit showing. You've got, like, the short mini skirt. This is very obviously the sexy cop cosplay. Like, oftentimes, the alternate outfits they're done for sex appeal, but if you play the main game, that's not the point. Junebugs Love You says, see, you got class today. Yes, you're good goddamn right. Shout out, Junebug. Appreciate the two-banger. But anyway, so the point that I'm making here is that within the context of the base game, for pretty much all female characters in Resident Evil, Rebecca, Jill, Claire, Sheva, they're relatively conservative, or at least relatively normal in their default outfit. Ada being the exception to the rule, and that's because she's the femme fatale archetype. Fair enough to call out Ada, but Ada being the femme fatale archetype does lend itself to being sexier out the gate. So, because I mean, that design is there to convey the type of archetype she is. Anyway, so when you start making arguments that are basically, we can't have hot women anymore, frankly, Grace didn't need to look any different in the baseline game anyway. Her alternate outfits should be what do it, not her default one.
Again, make absolutely no mistake, the average left-winger is just as horny and just as depraved as any 13-year-old boy that has recently gotten his first copy of Tomb Raider. In fact, this is the precise same thing that became a meme in Tomb Raider, where you would back Lara up into a corner, push her up against the wall, and hear the little grunty noises. It's the precise same thing from, well, a website that also has taken a firm stance against sexism over the years. And to be clear as well, Resident Evil is a series with attractive characters full stop. Women and men, and that is a good thing. That is the ideal. Preferably, I want a video game.
Now, I want to call out something he says here, because he's not wrong, but I also don't think he's framing it the proper way. Yes, Resident Evil is a game that, out the gate, had attractive male and female characters off the top. But there's a difference between attractive, conventionally attractive, and sexified, right? Ada being the exception due to the femme fatale archetype, none of the female characters are sexified in their default outfits. Neither are any of the male characters, to be fair. They're just handsome, well-built males because they're cops or they're special agents or whatever it may be, so they are fit and in shape. The females and the males have all the hallmarks of traditional beauty. So attractiveness ought not be confused with sex appeal. Runaway Vagabond for a 5-banger says, I think the problem is that many of the new players never play these games back in the day. They only play games now that's popular or you can... Well, yeah, I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. Like, that is absolutely a problem. But that problem, I think, takes a back seat to people on either side of the aisle that are playing the games now for the first time and just jumping to aesthetic things. Like, oh, I don't like this aesthetic thing. If this changes, game would be good. When no, it fucking wouldn't. No, it might be more visually pleasing to look at, but that can't carry an entire game.
In which both
Thank you for the 5-banger, by the way. I appreciate it, Vagabond.
Plethora of eye candy to look upon, because that just makes everybody happy. That's not how the left views it, however. So, let's get into the explanation from left-wing dogma here.
Bro, Tebow in the chat calling it the Yorch effect is diabolical. Well played.
Yeah. Why is it okay to sexualize Leon but not Ada Wong, for example? Well, Leon, you see, is a straight, hetero, white male. This means he has the maximum amount of power plus privilege that society can conceivably offer. Or, in translation, he is the oppressor, the evil villain, the white man, keeping everybody else down. And since the left-wing hierarchy is their perceived worldview, white men at the absolute very top, reversed, this means that he is the lowest class of people possibly imaginable. He, in essence, has absolutely no rights.
Well, to be fair, if Arch was talking about me, he would be correct. I am at the top of the societal totem pole. I'm at the top of the hierarchy. Frankly, I may as well be your god emperor. You can all bow before me.
Or privileges, and anything and everything you can, want to, or have the ability to do to him is not only permissible, but desirable. And so, watching him suffer, sexualizing him, harassing him, viewing him and doing to him everything that they have cried their eyes out over being the worst thing imaginable when it happens to women, all 100% okay.
I think he's wrong here. No, I think he's correct from a academic, leftist, communist mainframe mentality. What he's saying is correct at that level, but I think attributing that level of perceived intelligence, faux intelligence towards these journalists that are sexualizing Leon is actually giving them way too much credit. Really, they are just animals with no sense of self-restraint. They're basically being paid to let their carnal desires run wild. It is the most basic form of impulse control. Like, they might be indoctrinated by leftist doctrine, and it gives them the pass to write this shit, absolutely. But they're not thinking of it in that oppressed manner that was so prevalent even half a decade ago, because these journalists aren't the bastions of what's coming out of leftist academia.
Fully integral and coherent within left-wing doctrine. Leon Kennedy is a piece of meat to them. And the worst part is, this is what they accused everybody else of. This was the accusation levied against men in general, that they viewed women as nothing more than sex objects, as pieces of meat. And again, I refer you back to putting him in a corner grunting. Yeah, these people are in no position to throw rocks at anyone, but of course, seeing as the primary purpose of the doctrine of left wing is political power, they will nevertheless do so, as society seems to be unswervingly dedicated to creating an oppressor and an oppressed class. The left wing simply wants to oppress men, whereas we would prefer it if you didn't.
And if now there are a lot of writers for like Kotaku, Polygon, whatnot, that absolutely inject their politics into their writing. And when that happens, I think videos like this do mean a whole lot more and are a whole lot, and are a lot better. Because you're actually calling out the direct, their calls to political action. When they're talking about how XYZ game is fascist and it is given rise to the advent of Donald Trump, who is now using ICE as a Gestapo to get rid of brown people. Like, when they're putting stuff like that in their, journalism, points that Arch here is making, I think, hold a lot more weight, because he's pointing out specific, like, dogmatic views that the left has that they're putting on full display. I don't think that using these very strong political arguments as an attempt to take down leftist, visceral, carnal, lack of impulse control driven desires, they're just too incongruent for it to work for me.
If you're gonna force us...
Yeah, they're in goon mode, not oppressor-oppressed mode, exactly.
Oppressing the left wing is sounding like a very good idea. Better year by year, in fact.
I should bring Raging Golden Eagle on my stream. I feel like I know that name, but I don't know if I've ever seen any of their content. I don't know if it's a team or if it's a single dude or whatnot. I know I've heard the name. Maybe I'll retweet him or something before, but yeah, I'm not familiar with Raging Golden Eagle. At least not very much. I wouldn't be opposed to talking to him, by the way, in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm sure it would be a great conversation. I just don't know who it is to really be able to say much beyond that.
So, there is, however, a wider conversation to be had around this, and that is also the reaction, of a significant portion of the male audience. So, as mentioned, Resident Evil is a setting with several attractive characters, and somewhat similarities to Silent Hill, where certain of the entries were intended to be metaphors for sexual frustration.
No. No. Hold on. That has never happened in Resident Evil. That he is correct about Silent Hill. Certain entries or certain story beats or certain enemy types or locations are absolutely supposed to be metaphors or allegories to sexual frustration. Yes. That has never... I can't think of a single thing in Resident Evil canon that has been an allegory or a metaphor for anything sexual. I'm playing these games for damn near 30 fucking years. I consider myself very media literate when it comes to Resident Evil. I cannot think of that ever being the case. Yeah, Souls it's just Silent Hill to my knowledge. Yeah, Ghost of Valhalla, that only happened to Silent Hill. Okay, I'm glad that I'm not the fucking crazy one here.
Shall we say? Things like this happen as well. In fact, more often than I'm entirely comfortable with. And in fact, the entire thing of, like, banging monsters, and we're not talking monster girls here. We're not talking monster girl quests or anything. We are talking actual, literal, flesh-eating demons, etc. I generally do believe this is coming from a place of, well, repressed sexuality. So,
by his logic, making a zombie of a female and that zombie look that you could tell they were at least conventionally hot back when they were alive is a retarded argument. By that same logic, if you were to turn on Dawn of the Dead, the original George A. Romero flick, Dawn of the Dead, and you were to watch the hordes and crowds of zombies, and you pause it at various different scenes, and you see some what you could tell is an attractive hot actress underneath all the zombie makeup, and you make that same argument then, like, oh man, they're turning these zombies into these avatars of demonic sexual repression. Like, we would all know immediately that is a ridiculous argument. To do the same with Resident Evil is mind-blowing. Like, this monster shows up twice in the game. It doesn't show up twice. There's 2 of them, and there's only 2 of them the whole game. These rival opera singers that have since become infected. They are not in any way, shape, or form metaphorical or analogous to any form of sexual representation or oppression or anything. If you're an opera singer, odds are like you put work into your appearance because you're going to be on stage. So when they died, they still looked relatively good. It is that simple.
Imagine if you say that you were a feudal country, for example, that had been placed under the heel of repeated repressive feudal monarchs for a very long time, local warlords, for example. And if you tried to reach out for any non-sanctioned religion, say Christianity, you'd be boiled in a pot.
You said you loved the review? Dude, I am being inundated. Like, I knew I was going to get haters, and there's been a lot of haters. Don't get me wrong, I'm here for it. I'm loving it. I am loving the hate that I'm getting in my Resident Evil review. The thing that I'm twistedly proud of is how many people are saying ChatGPT wrote it. Like, because if we were to bear this out logically, and full disclosure, after the script was finished, and the script took me like fucking 3 or 4 days, I ran the script through ChatGPT to analyze it for errors. And it's like, hey, you use this word here too many, a bunch of times. You use this word too many times. Here's some, here's some synonyms. That is the extent that ChatGPT was used for. But guess what? I also sent, the first several paragraphs to my boy Niet to do the same thing. He's a real person. His whole entire, Film Comics Explained, y'all know him. His entire presence on YouTube is long-form scripted reviews. So I was like, all right, I'm going to send it to him. The reason I only sent in the first few paragraphs is because there was no spoilers, and he wanted to play the game, and he didn't want spoilers. Otherwise, I'd have had him edit the whole thing. Like, sending a script to an editor is completely fucking normal. So after my script was done, using ChatGPT as basically an editor, I don't see any issue with that whatsoever. And I only changed a few key repetitive words, and that's it. So if they're saying the whole script sounded like ChatGPT, that must mean that I'm such a technically good writer that I was able to come out with, like, was effectively the perfect script. That's that's the hilarious part to me. Haters are obsessed fans. Yeah, absolutely. I like the video. The more I think about the story, the more angry I get how stupid it is. Yes, exactly. AI does the same thing a human does, but faster and less accurately, if we're being honest. Yo, what up, Dash Attack, for a 5-banger. Finished it last night. Game was fun. The idea that Spencer had remorse for what he did to Marcus and the Trevor family not buying it. Bingo, bango, bongo. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Thank you for the 5-banger. But yeah, the ChatGPT accusations are fucking hilarious because they're only coming from the people who are haters. And it's also because if we look at the video, right? If we look at the video, one moment here. Analytics. Where does it show the average view duration? Let's see, engagement? Yeah, the average view duration is 5 minutes and 12 seconds. 5 minutes and 12 seconds. It's a nearly 20-minute video. I pissed off all these fucking Resident Evil 9 fanboys by just being, again, in my opinion, objective and critiquing of the story, the retcons, the characters, the plots. I didn't bring up culture war nonsense at all in the review. And within the first 5 minutes, I'm pissing off these motherfuckers so much. So you can't even tell me that the script feels like ChatGPT when you're bouncing out because I made you upsetty spaghetti over my honest thoughts on the fucking words. Like, get the fuck out of here. So yeah, that is my favorite criticism. My favorite criticism is that it sounds like an AI script. Now, to be fair, that could also boil down to, since I don't do scripted content almost ever, I'm not very good at recording scripted content. Like, and I'll say that when I watched it back, I was like, man, I don't. There's a reason all my videos are just off the cuff, and it's just me talking, right? All my videos are unscripted, one-take videos. So when I do scripted videos, it doesn't, at least to my ears, always sound natural. But again, I don't know, that's too much self-criticism or whatnot. I'm not sitting here trying to glaze my own videos or anything like that, because that's fucking weird. But that is my favorite critique. That's the one that's getting me laughing the most. Even if it were AI scripted, it wouldn't change how you feel about it. That's a good point, to be fair, LG. Yeah, even if it were AI scripted, it wouldn't change how I feel about it. That's because it. Let's see because if you go into AI and you're just like, write me a script for, XYZ. Because AI is not going to give you a damn near 20-minute script. Like, AI is not going to give you a damn near 20 fucking minute script. But anyway, that's back to this. I just found those funny.
Or hung on a cross. Well, that country was Japan. And that pretty
You should use AI in your script just to spite these people. Well, like I said, I use AI as an editor. I also use real people as an editor. The last scripted video, well, I haven't finished this video yet, so I have a script for another video I'm working on, but it is a very, very dense subject, and I've more or less put on the back burner because I'm stuck. But I sent the script to Emperor Goodwin, I sent the script to Niat, I sent the script to Vex Electronica, and I ran the script through AI. So I sent it to 3 humans to edit, plus the AI, and it is such a dense script because it's a breakdown of the idea of liminality and liminal spaces and how that affects our sense of what I call melancholy monotony. And it's just such a dense, esoteric idea that I'm having major issues with the script. But the fact that I sent it to 3 human editors plus ran it through AI, it's like, I wrote the fucking thing. So it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious to me.
much continued to well up.
How many pages did it come out to? I'd have to go back and look at it. I'm not sure. Oh, you mean the Resident Evil script? Resident Evil script was 18 fucking pages. The liminal spaces and melancholy monotony script. I don't know. I haven't visited it in a while. But yeah, the Resident Evil script came out to 18 pages. Now, to be fair, it's formatted like a script. I have it formatted like a movie script. So, if I was to do it in like paragraph chunks, it'd probably be like 8 pages, 9 pages, something like that. But because I have it formatted line by line to try and give, because I try to type it in the way that I would want my cadence to be while I'm reading it. 18 pages, that's small compared to what I write. Yeah, 18 pages. Video came out to almost 19 minutes. It's like 18 minutes and 40-something seconds. So basically, each page is a minute per page. Natural speaking tone. Yeah, AI did that. Fucking morons.
Up until the mid-1900s, where the Americans dropped 2 small suns on their heads. Suddenly, they were now a liberal democracy, more or less overnight, and that introduced with it a whole range of new freedoms that the Japanese people had basically never known, which led to an explosion in fascinating entertainment. In other words, sexual repression, as we've seen on multiple occasions throughout history, tends to lead to some pretty heavy-duty, erotica.
I would say he is correct. He is objectively correct about that, but there's also nothing in Resident Evil to apply that to. Like, he's making allusions to things like hentai and tentacle porn and whatnot, and yeah, those are all very obviously products of the Japanese. But that doesn't mean it's in every Japanese product, and to say or project, and to say that Resident Evil has those things is just factually incorrect.
And I do believe this.
Yeah, just because you're not wrong doesn't make you right. Exactly, Tomahawk.
Is an element of that because, well, female characters in video games today, Ada Wong is an extreme rarity. In fact, she largely belongs to the past and is...
Actually, no. Ada Wong is heavily altered, heavily desexualized, heavily, like, not feminized, because that'd be a good thing, but heavily more feminist than she ever was. So him using Ada Wong as an example here is a terrible example. Like, this is an awful example to use.
Seen in remasters, etc. Whereas modern day female representation is things like this.
Let me show you how bad a comparison that is. Resident Evil 4, 2005. Resident Evil 4 remake Ada comparison. Let's see. Do we have? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. When he's trying to say, oh, the Ada, Ada is more largely a thing of the past. Bullshit. Bullshit. And again, I'm actually on the side of I don't think we should be making the hot versus ugly character argument in regards to Resident Evil 9, because the game is bad regardless of whether the girls are hot or not. But you can't sit here and try and tell me that in Resident Evil 4 remake, oh, Ada is remnants of what we used to have, when this is the alterations. Get the fuck out of here with that. Like, if you don't know, if you are not familiar with the topic that you're covering, you shouldn't be fucking covering it. There's a reason that Hypno, for example, shout out Hypno in the chat, Hypno emojis in the chat, everybody. There's a reason that I don't cover all the fucking shit that Hypno covers. There's a reason that I barely covered the High Guard stuff. There's a reason I haven't covered the Marathon stuff at all. Because that ain't my realm, right? Online games and looter shooters and whatnot, that ain't my fucking lane. There's certain things that are very obvious that I can cover, because even if you're not familiar with source material or something, like Concord, there's so much there that is very easy for even the uninitiated to talk about it. I couldn't talk about Concord in a mechanical sense whatsoever. I can't talk about Marathon at all. I'm not familiar with that world. I'm not familiar enough with High Guard. I did, I think a single High Guard video, and that was it. I left it to people like Atreus, like Kata, like Hypno, people that play these online shooter games and are familiar with that culture. And I'll stick to things that I know very well. Single player games, specifically horror, platformers, anime, movies. I am far more versed in those areas than I am online shooters, because I like shooters. Why I didn't get Resident Evil 4 remake? Pray for Code Veronica. I will pray that Code Veronica just never fucking exists. That's what I'll pray for. I'll pray for Code Veronica never actually coming to fruition. Thank you for the 2-banger.
1348 X photos. Absolutely. I don't even know, really. Ugly, in a way. Unappealing, definitely. Studiously middle of the road. Yes. Uglified by design, totally.
But by the way, after this video, because Hypno made a video on the same subject, and we're going to be doing his next, because I'm curious where he falls on this. I wonder if this will be a case of when me and Hypno disagree or not.
Something you jerk off to? Frankly, I see why you might want to try and screw the zombie instead. I genuinely...
See, this is very obvious. This is just Twitter engagement bait. Applying some sort of deviant, sexual, monster fucker, repression analogies and allegories to Resident Evil because there's some wackadoos on X using the one attractive female zombie. It's very obvious engagement bait, and taking this seriously feels so fucking disingenuous.
I see why you might want to try and screw the zombie instead. I genuinely do. But then it also comes to the question of why male romance things are also still continuously so looked down upon, as the only other form of female representation in gaming is...
I thought you did. I thought I saw it earlier. Hold on. Let me, I thought you released a video on it. It popped up in my recommended feed. Yeah, right here. The hypocrisy around Leon is astounding. All I had to do was type in YouTube, and it's right here on my recommended feed. It came out 3 hours ago, bitch. The fuck you mean I did, question mark? Shut the fuck up, Hypno.
is, well, political. Literally, the strong female main character having taken over video games, and of course any representation of women need to be like this. You'd think the picture of a strong woman flexing her biceps would at least be played with a woman, an observable woman, but no. So...
Oh, yeah, you just made fun of journal hypocrisy? Yeah, that's what this video is as well. He's just doing it in a way that I find very retarded.
And the author of a fantastic little series called Trailer Park Elves on the Archcast, a month or two ago or so now. He writes...
Have I seen any other Resident Evil 9 reviews? I've not watched any other Resident Evil 9 reviews. I've read other Resident Evil 9 reviews, like via journalists and from other people on X and whatnot. I haven't watched any. I think I'm gonna watch 8-Bit Eric's. I don't know if I'm gonna do it on stream or not, but I'm gonna watch 8-Bit Eric's because I'm really interested. I don't know. There's something, because I didn't expect 8-Bit Eric. It just doesn't seem like the sort of thing he would play. So I'm curious what his overall thoughts and takeaways are. So I know for sure I'm going to be watching 8-Bit Eric's review.
This series called, again, Trailer Park Elves, a male romance series. A world of novels that I didn't even know existed until I randomly came across a picture of Trailer Park Elves on the internet and went, what? Well, that's a fascinating idea. Chat funded a read-through of it, so I did, and frankly, I adored it. So I got the other entries in the series as well, and what was most interesting is, I went into this assuming it would be, well, that it would be this, that it would be utter degeneracy from page 1 to page 213. Nothing but the most vile and extraordinary
thanks for the sub, Charles.
To give the terminology, ever put to paper, but no. That was the weird thing. It had, like, one sex scene, I think, in the first book. Possibly two? That was it, over the course of, like, 200-odd pages. Everything else was relationships and romance and build-up towards the romantic relationship.
And look, that's all well and good. I'm glad that there's, novels out there for dudes that portray, male romance in a positive way. But I ask you, the fuck that got to do with Resident Evil? Like, not only the fuck that got to do with Resident Evil, the fuck that got to do with calling out journalistic hypocrisy in terms of, like, these carnal desires and whatnot. I don't see the relevance of marrying the two together in a video for a topic like this.
Appreciation of the male main character. Holy shit.
Ebonix Kang for a two-banger said, did you use the R word? That's not nice. What? The reggaeton? Oh, you mean retarded? Shut the fuck up. That super chat's retarded. Nah, I appreciate you, Kang.
That's not
Thank
something
you.
I'd experienced since Mass Effect 1, which was swiftly taken care of in the sequel, obviously. So then, of course, later on, I also read another particular little series too. You know of which I speak, of course. Yeah, that one. Milking Farm. Female romance. Which chat has found very, very funny, if nothing else, and we're currently funding the 4th book in the series.
There's more than just this one? Oh, fuck, dude.
Yes, there is a series of Milking Farm books. This is female romance. And if, for some mysterious reason, the book art is not enough to clue you in as to what's going on here, the thumbnail art drawn by White for our stream specials of it probably should. Everything I assumed to be true about male's romance, which turned out not to be true, was true. The female romance. The first book of Milking Farm has the mention of the word balls on every second page in the book. It vividly describes werewolf orgies. It devotes entire page.
To be fair, I'm not saying Arch doesn't know what he's talking about in reference to other things. Like I said, I like Arch. I've had him on Countercast. It was great. He did very well on Countercast. It's like a year and a half or so ago. He's always been very polite and courteous to me and our limited interactions. Absolutely. I just don't agree with his framing here. I think that this is a very bad way to go to entertain the Resident Evil hot versus not hot character disparity issue.
To describing cow penis and the seams of balls and a lot of ways of describing Choom that I'd not really thought of or ever really hoped I would have to think of, in fact.
Catch you later, Randall.
The word erotica is, in a way, fitting to describe it. Unrelenting, unflinching, unceasing, actual perversions. So, this then feeds back into this left-wing worldview, where we have something that is actually genuinely 98% a romance story, and this is vile, unacceptable societally. As society does not like male romance at all, it is a very stigmatized genre, and it is viewed as something that you definitely shouldn't indulge in. It's basic.
Yeah, but see, Resident Evil has largely been aromantic for its entire, like, there is the sexual tension and the will they won't they of Leon and Ada. But again, that plays into her femme fatale archetype. So it's absolutely pushes the plot and the character of Leon forward. And even then, it is absolutely minimal in the grand scheme of things. So why this is being brought up in relation, I'm gonna be real. I don't think that Arch has ever played a Resident Evil game. With the way that he is talking about this, I don't think he has ever played a Resident Evil game.
Porn, right? Which, again, it isn't. I genuinely do believe that the increasing fervor with which many men view increasingly dangerous-looking entities, I do see the irony in these statements, I agree, has to do with this against sexual repression, which isn't merely just a left-wing thing, this is normal. The conservatives weren't particularly fond of this either. Male romance and male sexuality has been stigmatized for, God, a couple hundred years now? Unironically. And to be fair, female sexuality has been stigmatized for as long, if not indeed possibly even longer. So I absolutely understand the need for an outlet. But obviously, the problem becomes yet again when you implement the double standard, where women are again allowed societally so to goon to the most horrific shit you can ever imagine, including vivid descriptions of anal prolapse in the second book, Breeding Clinic.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. And it's about exactly what you think too. It is literally a breeding clinic. This is a society constructed by a woman.
If he plays Resident Evil 2, it better be the goddamn original, not that queer-ass remake. I swear to fucking Christ.
Specifically with the intent of creating a world in which the concept of a werewolf breeding clinic is somehow not only acceptable, but just normal, casual, everyday stuff, really. Again, I'm not the kind to kink shame, and if you're into that, then good for you, but it does need to flow both ways, and for a...
Now again, up to this point, if we take out all the Resident Evil stuff from the beginning of the video, and we just isolate the male romance versus female romance in storytelling dichotomy that he's pointing out here, I think he has a lot of great points. I do. I think this video, when it comes to that chunk, is very well articulated, and I think that he is correct. But again, I don't think this maps on in any way, shape, or form to the Resident Evil discussion. Ebonics Kang with a 5 bangers. So the question, when is Resident Evil 5 getting remastered? I got some aggression to take out. Man, here's the dealio. You can get Resident Evil 5 on Steam right now. It holds up beautifully and brilliantly. It plays like a dream. Me and Cinevere have played through that game together. We played through it together, I think, like 4 times in 2 months. It was glorious. So trust me, it holds up. Just play it as it is now.
least, and probably hopefully for the future as well, Resident Evil has been one of the few titles, primarily because it's not Western, that allows for this. And again, I would like for that to remain. I do not believe...
But allows for what? You say allows for male romance. There isn't male romance almost at all in Resident Evil.
That the answer to this kind of nonsense, or this, is to remove Leon Kennedy, or to make him less sexy, or censoring him, or in any way turning him into what the left wing has turned all women characters into. There we go, there's the one. I don't want to do this to Leon Kennedy. I don't want to take away the schlicking fodder of the females. I would just like for both of us to be treated equally on this. That is, of course, far too much to ask for a politically conquered gaming industry.
Now, when he says he would like, people to be treated equally on this, do I agree? Absolutely. But if you were to ask me, Leon, what would you prefer? Grace to stay exactly as is, but the story be rewritten to not bastardize the character of Leon Kennedy, to not have all the retcons, to not have all the plot holes, to make, Zeno an actual character, to make Gideon an actual fucking character. Like, if Grace stays visually the same, fuck, even make her worse for all I give a shit, but fix all the narrative and writing and plot issues, I'm going to choose that every fucking time versus keep the plot and the structure and the characters in terms of their archetypes and narrative and all that exactly the same, but make Grace with big titties and skimpier outfits. Like, dude, no, that anyone that chooses that second option is a fucking idiot and is exactly the same as the left, just on the opposite side of the coin.
But hopefully, as the spectre of the left wing grows ever more distant in the rearview mirror, we might get at least a brief return to form. Well, there are certain complications in the way of that as well, especially if the Overton window swings far enough to the right. As I mentioned, male romance has tended to be stigmatized by both sides of politics for a very long time, but
Single Tail says, we're already getting the short end of the stick, so can't we demand a better stick? If you are implying that making Grace hot would be a better stick, no, because it wouldn't. Making Grace hotter, or putting her in skippier clothes, or whatever, wouldn't be a better stick. Because nothing about the aesthetic of Grace being changed to be more sexified or whatever would in any way, shape, or form improve the actual problems the game has. There's a reason I didn't bring up Grace's aesthetic in my review at all, because it is irrelevant to the myriad of problems the game has. I would not Grace could end up being so amazing and so beautifully designed, purely from a visual aesthetic, that she replaces Jill Valentine as my favorite female in the franchise. I would still hate that fucking game. I'm saying we get both, a better story and a better... Well, that wasn't part of the hypothetical. When given a hypothetical, you gotta choose one of the two things. So what you're asking for, and diverting from the hypothetical, is midwit nonsense. Arch is only talking about the visual aspects here. And to me, that's a fucking problem. How would I rewrite Requiem? I'll be real, man. We ain't got time for that while I'm doing a reaction to this. I've thought long and hard about it. Pause, you homos. And I would be here all day.
But this also, oh god, we could even delve into a discussion of what this has to do with masculinity, how it fits in there, whether or not it's negative.
I'll tell you one thing. Since you did give a membership for 3 months, which, by the way, I forgot to say thank you for. I'm so locked down the Resident Evil stuff. Thank you, by the way, for 3 months membership. I absolutely appreciate it. I'll give you one thing. That way we're not stuck on this forever. Never, and I mean never, under any fucking circumstances whatsoever, would I brought back Raccoon City. It has been canonically stated multiple times over that it was wiped off the map. That's the terminology they use. Wiped off the map. So if I was to change one thing out the fucking gate, it would be we were not going back to Raccoon City. Raccoon City is gone. It doesn't exist. It hasn't existed since the government bombed that shit off the face of the earth in 1990 goddamn 8.
Damaging, or whether it is simply a natural and healthy.
Google Squirt, if you keep spamming, I'm timing you out. Or I'm going to have one of my mods time you out. I don't give a fuck about whatever you're saying. It's not contending with what we're talking about right now. Shut the fuck up and enjoy what we're talking about here, continue with what we're talking about here, or get the fuck lost.
The part of being male, I heavily lean in on the latter portion, of course, but I guess we've ranted on for long enough as it is. So, yes, there is absolutely a double standard here. It is not accidental, they are not unaware of it, this is simply left-wing doctrine. It is 100% cohesive and coherent with their worldview, and it is not because they don't notice. It's because they view you as an oppressor class, which is why, paradoxically and so thoroughly left-wing in that it opposes itself on the very fundament of its ideas, why you don't matter.
It's not that there's rules, Google Squirt, it's the common fucking sense. Right now, we're in a chat having a live discussion about Resident Evil, and you're talking about dental hygiene. That's fucking retarded. What does that add to the conversation in any way, shape, or form? And then you're also spamming about it over and over. Basically, the rule is use common sense and don't be fucking retarded.
And why you do need to be used as a piece of meat for what I can only presume to...
So your rewrite is going to be a future video? I don't think so. Thank you for the 2-banger, by the way, Sleepy Nova. I appreciate it. A video on how I would rewrite Resident Evil 9 couldn't be done without also rewriting the remakes of 2, 3, and 4. I mean, I suppose I could take the easy route and just wipe the remakes of 2, 3, and 4 from existence and just say that Resident Evil 9 follows the original canon of, you know, the standard Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 that came out originally. But, like, there is... It would be a far larger project than my Resident Evil 9 review was as is. And I already sacrificed, like, 5 days of content making to do that one video. I don't know that I can justify that again as somebody who, you know, traditionally does daily content. Thank you for the 2-banger, though.
Be a very homosexual man's masturbatory enjoyment. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.
Yeah, no, that video was absolute crap. Again, I like Arch. He's a fine dude. There's the video, give it a like and whatnot. But I can't get in line with calling out the visual aesthetics in terms of, like, oh, the double standards that journalists have about, you know, hot male characters and ugly female characters. The game is a fucking broken game from far more important aspects. Far more important aspects. It is way more important to call out lore inconsistencies, character rewrites, retcons, very simple point A to point B to point C logistical writing errors. So, yeah, did Ken invite some homies to chat? India loves you when you play. And you know what? We're just gonna time you out. I ain't got time for this shit today. There we go. 5-minute timeout. I ain't got shit. I ain't got time for that shit. Alright. So now we're gonna look at Hypno's coverage of it. Because I'm curious where Hypno stands on the journalist hypocrisy stuff, which, to be fair, I think I heard some of this during Hypnocast last night. This was right around the time I was falling asleep. Because I heard him say the word Leon, and I thought he was addressing me in chat, and I rolled over, and I was like, I looked at the TV, and I was like, oh, he's talking about the Resident Evil stuff, and I started nodding back off.
Let's talk about the hypocrisy of gaming journalism. And what am I talking about? Well, guys, we have another example of rules for thee, but not for me, right? So we discussed the other day about rules for thee, but not for me. regarding Resident Evil and how all these people, and by people, I mean women and gay men, were all gooning over Leon. And it even got to the point where it was super awkward, and somebody at Kotaku decided to admit that they were on anti-HIV medication in order to get dicked down by other men. It was a very interesting admission.
What was the excuse for Raccoon City still even existing? I never heard it. Well, it's because they don't reveal it until in the game. And the excuse they give in the game, which is fucking retarded and makes no sense, is that the Connections, a shadowy criminal organization that's existed since the 80s and may or may not control the entirety of the U.S. government, lobbied the U.S. government to shoot a missile that wouldn't actually destroy Raccoon City, but would just do enough damage to basically get everybody away from the city to make it look like it is they were trying to quarantine and use American artillery to effectively eradicate the infection, when all reality they were trying to gain access to the hidden lab that housed Elpis, which was underneath Raccoon City. So apparently it was all a ploy set up 28 years ago in canon lore that they didn't actually want to destroy Raccoon City. They just wanted to get prying eyes away from Raccoon City and gain access to the underground. Where the Connections was revealed in Resident Evil 7 and became the new big bad moving forward. They're alluded to in Resident Evil 7. They're not even given a name until Resident Evil 8, if I recall. And to be fair, while I am a lore savant for Resident Evil, that really goes up to about Resident Evil 6, because Resident Evil 7 and 8 were so disconnected from Resident Evil lore at large, and because Resident Evil 8 also retconned a bunch of shit, I stopped being so autistically obsessed with the lore of those games. But if I recall properly, the Connections are alluded to in Resident Evil 7, but they're not actually given a name. They're just called, like, the Organization or something. They're actually given the name in Resident Evil 8, and now in Resident Evil 9, they're the big bad guys that are behind everything the whole time.
But I mean, it is what it is. Well, apparently we have yet another one.
Hey, catch you later, Charlie.
Where we have from PC Gamer, Stop the Clock, Resident Evil Requiem's first sexy Leon mod hits Nexus mods just 4 days, 11 hours, and 23 minutes after launch. I'm glad we can all share this moment. Now, apparently, they are celebrating a...
See, I like Hypno's framing this a lot better than Arch is already. Why? Because he's talking about mods. Mods being this optional thing that is up to players. So, see, when Arch attacked this subject, he did it in a way that doesn't work because he's talking about the game as it is. And if you want to talk about the journalist hypocrisy, the best way to go about the journalist hypocrisy is in regards to mods, which are which again are optional and player driven. So yes, while journalists can bitch about Stellar Blade mods and then hypocritically, just avow and aggrandize Resident Evil 9 hot Leon mods, there's definitely more of a discussion to be had there.
Sexualized mod for Leon. Now, you guys know where I stand with this stuff. I do not care if you want to mod your game in this fashion. It means absolutely nothing to me whatsoever. What I care about is the hypocrisy behind all this. If you are going to be the same outlets that were writing articles about how terrible the Gooner mods for Eve from Stellar Blade were, well, then I have to then call you out on this and ask you, why are you celebrating this when you just complained about this not even that long ago? You know? But we all know that consistency is not exactly their strong point, and they don't consider this to be problematic because, well, this is safe horny, right? This is appeasing their interests, right? When you have the woman,
this might be safe horny. But in Resident Evil 4 remake mods, that wasn't safe horny at all, dude. Like, I saw horror. Thankfully, I didn't look these up myself. But X be a cursed place. You be on Resident Evil X and you be scrolling and all of a sudden you see people showing gameplay run-throughs of Resident Evil 4 remake modded with Leon just full cock and balls out. That shit won't save horny at all. That's just horny.
With nice big tits and a nice big ass, being sexualized, it's problematic for them for a couple of reasons. Number one, either they're not into women, which is exactly what the Kotaku journalist is going through, or they are women and they feel inferior to the woman that looks much hotter than they do. So they have to make you feel bad for preferring the hot woman over them. But in this scenario, nope, it's perfectly fine.
The idea that hypocrisy gets them off, you might be onto something, because if they can be hypocritical about this, if they can cause a big stink on social media by being hypocritical about this, that's going to draw people to their article. That's going to get coverage, so it's going to get clicks. So the articles are going to perform better than their standard bullshit articles that nobody clicks on. So you actually might be onto something there. Now, that being said, that would also be giving them the credit that they actually have the mentality to think that far ahead, which I don't like doing.
Fine, you can sexualize Leon all you want, and it's no problem whatsoever. Few men, fictional or otherwise, has spin kicked their way into the hearts as many of the thirsty internet admirers as Leon S. Kennedy, and given his recent upgrade to hot uncle status, thanks to the devoted efforts of the women on Resident Evil Requiem dev team, which, by the way, if there was a hot female character that was decided by a bunch of men on the development team, do you think they would be celebrating it?
I wonder what the male to female ratio is for people using those mods. I'm trying to decide if we would include gay dudes in with the females if we're running those numbers. Man, I didn't mod a Resident Evil. I haven't modded any of the modern Resident Evil games, and I love modding my games. I haven't modded any of the modern Resident Evil games. So for aesthetic purposes, for gameplay purposes, nothing. So I don't really know what the male to female. I wonder what the male to female ratio is first, just by modding the games in general. Like, if we just look at females modding the game and males modding the game, I'd wager probably more males mod the game. But then we look at male to females using those type of mods. I think we would absolutely see a reversal. I think we would absolutely see females doing those type of mods more.
Absolutely not. Do you think they would be promoting it? Absolutely not. The only reason...
And Master Aussie says mostly gays using the new Leon mod. And here's why I don't think... Here's why I think it would flip. Here's why I think people would flip. There's more women gamers than there are gay dudes. Because there's so few gays out there. So I think that just by a numbers game, that would have to be the case. I could be wrong, but I think just purely by numbers, that have to be the case.
And why they're promoting it and celebrating it is because a woman did it. That is the only reason why they're doing that. Otherwise, this would not be a thing. We know that's the case because they constantly have demonized hot, sexy female characters that were most likely made by male developers. And what they would always say is that, oh, this is a character that was made by a man that's never seen a woman before. They said that about the Shift Up CEO over at Cellarblade, and meanwhile, his wife literally was one of the people that designed Eve. But apparently, he's never seen a woman before. I'm sure she never seen a woman before either. But regardless...
From what I heard, the gays simp for Chris in Resident Evil 8, women simp for Leon in Resident Evil 4. Well, to be fair, there are a lot of gays that simp for Leon. There's absolutely a lot of gays that simp for Leon. Just because gay dudes simp for fucking everything. Let us not underestimate the thirst that comes from gay dudes. They love calling married men with kids incels. They love calling any man incels. Any of them. Like that's what it boils down to. Any of them. Next mods are RE. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Anyway.
This level of hypocrisy is just fucking ridiculous, bro. And again, they'll be so disingenuous about it. They'll say, "Oh, you just hate gay people. Oh, you just hate women. You're a misogynist. That's why you have a problem with this. You're a homophobe. That's why you have a." It's literally none of that, and they know it's none of that. But that's the angle they take because they don't want to get called out on their bullshit, which we already know this is their bullshit. And I think what this is too, I think this is PC Gamer Lincoln Carpenter, whoever the fuck this is, sounds like an AI journalist. Yeah, this is definitely an AI journalist. Looks like it anyway. I think that this is PC gamers' attempt to try to get the lightning in the bottle, which was the Requiem HIV story from Kotaku. I think this is them trying to mimic it in their own way by doing rage bait to try to get people to click their website because their websites are fucking dead.
Bingo, bango, bongo. What'd your boy just say? Did I not make this exact same argument like 4 fucking minutes ago? I think I got this dude the same comment 4 fucking minutes ago.
All right, their websites are dead and they're being replaced by AI. There was just a recent round of layoffs at all the major news outlets, even Eurogamer. They're getting felted out there. They're being replaced by AI, and they're desperately trying to prove to their higher-ups that they don't have to be replaced by AI. Look, boss, I could get you a lot of impressions. Oh, yeah? What really good gaming news story did you write? I wrote about how I'm on HIV medication, and I want Leon to rail me because obviously that's being a great journalist over at Kotaku.
I need somebody to clip right now Hypno saying, I want Leon to rail me. We could have a lot of fucking fun with that clip, baby.
It's crazy, man. Hey, what's up, Toasty? How you doing? So, anyway, guys, it's an embarrassment at this point.
Hold on. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. Because here's what we're gonna do.
It's crazy, man. Because story did you write? Boss, I could get you a lot of impressions.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna take. We're gonna go. We're gonna go with the full camera. All right, we're gonna go with the full camera. That way, I'm not in frame. We're gonna do it again.
Oh, yeah? What really good gaming news story did you write? I wrote about how I'm on HIV medication and I want Leon to rail me because obviously that's being a great journalist over at Kotaku.
There it is, boys. Clip away. Clip that version with me not in or whatnot. That way it's 100% authentic, son.
It's crazy, man. Hey, what's up, Toasty? How you doing? So, anyway, guys, it's an embarrassment at this point. And you know what? I'm curious because they tend to delete stuff. Hold on, let me see. Gooner mods. Let's see. Let's see what happens when you search Gooner mods. Oh, here.
Use the voice line, generate an AI animation of it. See, I don't know. I like the idea that we're actually capturing Hypno saying it in real time out of context rather than AI.
Here we go. Oh, look. Oh, look. The first one over at PC Gamer. Gooner Game of the Year Stellar Blade mods are 41% smut, ensuring gamers will never see the light of heaven. It is.
Now, to be fair, if we were to swap this, like the Gooner Game of the Year, if we were to swap Stellar Blade with the like Resident Evil Leon mods, this would actually be 100% true because it's gays who are doing it and gays don't go to heaven. So there's actually a way to make this headline objectively true because gays don't go to heaven.
It's apparently always possible for there to be less clothing. This is an article written by Joshua Wolins over at PC Gamer complaining about the mods from Stellar Blade and how the majority of them, or almost half of them, are all, not safe for work mods. It's fucking insane, bro. Like, what are we doing here? So, anyway, he says, now, look, I have no issue with what adults do in the privacy of their own home. You clearly do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be complaining about it. If you want to turn your copy of any game into an overstimulating carnival of omnipresent erotic delights, please do so with my blessing. But I'm a tad mystified. I do wonder what kind of lifestyle is it leads a person to turn a video game main menu into hardcore porn. Oh, really? I wonder if you're asking the same question of the journalist over at PC Gamer who literally just wrote an article gooning over Leon.
No, better yet. Not only are you asking, not only am I curious if you're asking the journalist over at PC Gamer, I'm curious if you're asking the gays. Like, specifically, if you got this issue with straight dudes doing it, do you have issues with gay dudes doing it? Let's leave women out of the equation because women don't play games. So let's leave women out of the equation. Would you dare question the homo for doing the same thing.
Doing the same exact thing. It's like very obvious. At some point, are you so inured to sexuality that you have to crave it into every available crevice to feel anything? I don't know. Are you asking the same question of your journalist who just wrote the same thing? Clearly not, right? Like, let's be real. Clearly not. Would you not find more fulfillment if the erotic were less ubiquitous, more rare, more precious? At least we'll have Thomas the Tank Engine mods. Bro, this guy is absolutely coping. He's coping. Oh my God. So again, guys, this is just another example.
And funnily enough, there are already Thomas the Tank Engine mods for Resident Evil Requiem. The giant spider you fight when you enter Raccoon City as Leon has been Thomas the Tank Engine-ified.
Right? Of pure hypocrisy from the gaming media as they put out an article saying one thing and then another article saying another, back and forth, back and forth. It's just such a fucking joke, boys. That's really all I got to say about it. It's such a joke. And at the end of the day, man, we all know this is why they're being replaced. And they're doing this because they need to get maximum impressions. They are on a time limit. They're on a time limit, guys. I know you guys understand that. They're on a time limit, meaning that they have very little time left before they can actually convince their higher-ups that they don't have to be replaced by AI. And if they don't convince them, well, they're going to be replaced by AI.
Well, and not only that, the only reason they are still around, the only reason they are currently still around, well, there's two reasons. Let me rephrase. There's two reasons. The reason numero uno, there's been investors who put a lot of money into this. They're going to hold out until the very last second to try and turn this dying art of video game journalism into something profitable. They ain't going to pull the plug on something that had so much investment money go into it and subsidization go into it without even a hint or a chance at return on investment. But the other option is they're being subsidized by us, by YouTubers. By them putting out this clickbait slop articles that get people to click on their site and click on their articles, which then gets them ad rev. Once that goes away, they're done. Audi like 4 circles. The thing is, I don't know about all YouTubers and all like culture war gaming style channels, but me, I rarely even cover actual articles anymore. It's not worth it. It's all the same old, right? There's very rarely a time where I find value in covering a leftist gaming outlet article. And I think that Hypno rarely does it as well. You know? No. There's times where something's too good to pass up. Like, I understand absolutely why Atreus covered that Resident Evil Requiem HIV homo article. Sometimes God just gives you a fucking gift, right? But by and large, it is far more rare now to do it than it used to be. Which means they must inherently be getting less money. Because if I'm doing it less, and Hypno's doing it less, and Trace is doing it less, and 8-Bit Eric's doing it less, and Smash JT's doing it less, and so on and so forth, then they're getting less money from what was initially click engagement, at least from us YouTubers.
Already happened to multiple websites. All they have now is one AI editor, and that's it. The AIs are doing all the articles. There is no more journalists anymore. They're felted. They're gone. They're cooked. It's over. All right, let's continue. Let me X that out really quick. We had I think a super chat or a member chat. Let me see. We got Shizuka with a 189 Leon mod. So fat phobia is out the window, I guess.
I think they're referencing me. Shizuka Marakawa, I think, is referencing me, not Leon in the game, because I'm 100% fat phobic. Because of my absolute disdain for fat people. Well done, Shizuka. I like it. Thank you.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's a much better video. That was a much better video. So this is a clip from from Hypno's gaming channel. So make sure to give it a like, give it a sub. His gaming channel is not near as, no shade to it. He's obviously fucking killing it. But it's not near the level of his main channel. This video's got like 250 views in 4 hours. Normally he'd be at like 15,000 views or something by this point. So make sure to give our boy some love. There's the link. Do what you gotta do. I appreciate y'all. Absolute legends. And let's get into this right here. Joe Rogan reality checks Steve-O, who defended trans women using women's bathrooms, suggesting politicians want to put them in camps. Now, to be fair, Steve-O is right. I would love to see them in camps. But I don't make the fucking rules. Let's go.
Do you know who's killed more people than ICE this year? Trans shooters.
5 seconds in! Holy shit! I know it was clipped like that. I know it was clipped like that. But what a banger! Just open the gate. Like, you ever play a fighting game? And in fighting games, you got 5 bars of meter for your ultimate. But it will start you with 3 bars. It'll start you with 3 bars. And some people will start a match and they'll just ultra out the gate. They'll just use their super move out the gate. Their ultimate Hadouken or Tensapaki Sayuken or whatever. That's what just happened here, bro.
Do you know the majority of these high school shootings have been transgender people?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
What a fucking shock. Dude, hold on. Listen to how defeated Steve-O sounds when he says this.
Of these high school shootings have been transgender people?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I know the camera's on Joe, but if the camera had panned to Steve-O, we just seen him shrink back down his chair. And man, Steve-O used to be so fucking cool, bro. Steve-O, and I do still like him and whatnot. Like, his podcast is pretty good. I actually like Steve-O more after he got cleaned up from drugs. But this is such a bullshit. He's been on this, Trans Lives Matter shtick for a while, and it's so forced and retarded.
Yeah.
Talk to this transgender person, hey, can I run something by you? And I spoke with them. They described to me a level of oppression that genuinely fucking broke my heart.
They described it to you. I could describe to you a bunch of shit. I could describe to you a fairy land where dragons roam free and they eat unicorns. And I can describe to you how the gnomes run their kingdom and the dwarves are their rivals and they're always digging for diamonds. I can describe all that. That don't fucking make it real. Trans oppression ain't fucking real. Alright? Maybe if y'all just shut the fuck up, didn't try indoctrinating kids, right? Didn't go out there clamoring that you don't have the same fucking rights as everyone else, you wouldn't have put yourselves in this fucking position. And Steve-O falls for this dumb shit hook, line, and sinker.
Said, hey, let me tell you, I am not allowed to use the bathroom at my own place of work.
Good. You a dude? You don't need to be going into the woman's bathroom because you're not a fucking woman.
We've got politics.
That's not true. They're just not allowed to use the bathroom. It doesn't align with their biological sex.
Okay.
But you got to realize, they're not all... Listen, I genuinely think there's people that feel like they are in the wrong biological sex.
Correct. It's a mental illness. Gender dysphoria, right? It's listed in the DSM. Or at least it was. I heard it was taken out. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, yeah. It's an actual thing. For 0.07% of the population or something.
Sure. Right. But there's also people that are fucking perverts. And they have a thing called autogynephilia. And what that is they get a turn on by pretending to be a woman. They get excited by it. And they want to be around women. And autogynephilia is, sadly, far more fucking common than actual gender dysphoria. Creeps. And so you give them a fucking Willy Wonka golden ticket to go into the women's locker room and the women's bathroom and stare at women and pretend you're a woman when you're.
And guess what? You say, oh man, they've described to me the worst oppression. Yeah, well, guess what I've seen plenty of women describe? I've seen plenty of women describe this fake tranny's rock hard stiffy in the fucking women's bathroom because the dude that's not actually trans but does have autogynephilia is in there faking an actual mental illness that does need to be looked into and does need to be addressed, because that's a really fucking rough mental illness to have. But anyway, dudes go in there, they get their rock hard fucking stiffy, women get all uncomfortable, but they can't say shit because actually trans people aren't oppressed whatsoever. They've got more goddamn protections than any other motherfucking protected class on the face of the earth, at least in the US. And guess what? There shouldn't be any protected classes. There should be no such goddamn thing as a protected class. But that's a discussion for another fucking time.
You're just a crazy man, and you're actually into women.
Okay.
That's real too, man.
I don't doubt that that's real, and I know that it's a super complex, nuanced thing.
It really isn't nuanced at all. Here's the fucking nuance. Do you want women and children to be raped? If the answer is no, then you do anything and everything possible to minimize that to the legal and nth degree. That would start with not allowing dudes, whether they're actually trans or whether they actually have gender dysphoria or autogynephilic, to go into women's only fucking spaces. Risk outweighs heavily the reward.
And
but here's what's not complex. What is your chromosomes?
Right.
Okay? This is the same thing for competing. Right. All these fucking mental gymnastics that seemingly intelligent people do to justify biological males competing with females.
Oh, I'm with the, I don't think anybody's
It's the same thing.
What do you mean? What do you mean that nobody is arguing that? Hold on. Let's just do a quick search right here. Liberals arguing women and men should compete together. Liberal hypocrites are destroying women's sports. Should women compete against men in sports? Is protecting women's sports becoming a bipartisan issue? Why did Democrats oppose the Women's Sports Act? Women's sports are for women only. Male and female athletes should compete separately. Finally, I wonder how this is Reddit. I wonder how fast several of these people got fucking banned. So yeah, what the left refused to understand about women's sports. The fight to defend women's sports is not over, but we're winning. Supreme Court recap. Justice appeared to block. So, if there's nobody who thinks this, why do all these articles exist? Clearly, people fucking think this. You can't try and minimize it. You can't sit there and say, oh, I don't think anybody... No. There's... Dude, just go to X, type men and women's sports, start scrolling. Now, you'll see a mix of opinions because X is far less censorious than it used to be back when it was Twitter. But trust me, you still see a whole mess of motherfuckers talking about it and being in favor of it. Man, video that I put out today was just a clip of yesterday's video when we were talking about the One Piece stuff. We were talking about Oda. You know, covering the Chibi reviews, and he was talking about all these people wanting to kill Oda. Now, Chibi didn't really show a whole lot of it on screen. He showed some, not a whole lot. So when I was making the thumbnail for yesterday's stream, let's see, do I have it pulled up? Here we go, right here. This, what's hidden here under the text, this, and this, I found, how many is that? Was that like 9? I didn't count, that was like 9. I found at least 9 different fucking tweets just by typing in the words, kill Oda, and clicking the latest tab. You can't tell me for a goddamn moment that these freaks aren't everywhere.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
And especially as speaking as a man who has daughters, like, there are creeps. And if you give a creep, and I'm not saying all trans people are creeps.
Right.
But a lot of these fucking people that are in trouble for going into women's bathrooms dressed as a woman with a fucking beard and a heart on are just that. They're creeps.
Right, okay.
They're crazy men. And these crazy men, their entire life, they would get beaten up for that. And now all of a sudden, they have to be accepted. So you've got two things going on at the same time.
Steve sounds like he gargles hot asphalt every morning. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he was doing just for funsies, just putting back in his Jackass days.
Sure.
You've got people with gender dysphoria that genuinely wish they were a woman or genuinely wish they were a man. And by the way, it's men that are the problem.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Someone in the chat said it earlier. It's like, seems every time we hear about this issue, it's because it's men. Yeah. Look, again, I ain't a fan of the fucking trans shit on either side. However, I'm also very realistic about the idea. Men pretending to be women does seem to be a far bigger issue than women pretending to be men. Because I don't remember the last time I saw a case of a woman pretending to be a man getting in the fucking ring and throwing hands with a dude in some men's sports. I don't remember the last time that a woman pretending to be a man went into the man's bathroom and sexually assaulted the dude. Like, I ain't saying it didn't happen. I am saying that on the pie chart, of what happens the most often, to quote Mitch Hedberg, that is the donate it to charity slice of what you do if you found $1 million. Like, it's absolutely a creepy fucking dude issue.
No one gives a fuck about trans men going into the men's bathroom.
Enzo says, I want Steve-O and RFK to do a 4-hour live stream together. Bro, I've said this before. Raspcast is a diabolical name. I've said this before. I think it was on your show that I was saying it. I went to a freak show one time, and I watched a dude eat a light bulb. Like bite down and crunch and eat the glass of a light bulb. You are effectively asking for 4 hours of what was a 5-minute experience that I could barely, it just barely sit through.
Come on in. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Oh, a girl's going to shit next to you? Or what is she going to do? She's going to pee out of a funnel?
Right,
what is she going to do? Like,
Hey,
no
I'm
one's
not-
going to
I'm
get
not- I'm
hurt.
not arguing
No
with
one's
you
going to
on
get
this.
hurt. This is the problem. When
Right.
you allow perverts to have this hall pass to go into women's locker rooms and
Catch you later,
bathrooms,
Sonic.
you can't say you're not allowed to use the bathroom where you work. That's not true. You're
Okay.
just not allowed to use the women's room where other women are in there because you're not a woman.
I'm loving Rogan's rant. He is 1,000% correct. But I also want him to shut the fuck up for a moment because I really want to hear how Steve-O tries to weasel out of this. I'm truly curious how Steve-O would try and worm his way out of this one.
And I know you wish you were a woman or whatever's
Right.
going on,
Okay.
but you're
you know
not.
what? You make a very, very good point.
If you're a woman, talk to most women about this. And
Right.
it's unless they're insanely captured by this woke ideology where they can't see reality and the fact that perverts are still a real fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me tell you, plenty of them broads exist. Plenty of them broads exist that are all in on this woke ideology bullshit. And guess what? No amount of trying to explain what Joe just did will ever convince them otherwise. Instead, they are more than captured by the idea of, nah, it's the straight white male. It's the straight white male. Okay. Logically think about this. And I know that's going to be very difficult for you woke, ideologically captured pea-brain females out there. Where are you more likely to get sexually assaulted? Just in the grocery store or whatever by a straight white male? Or in the bathroom of a grocery store by a dude in a dress who claims he's a woman that they let go in there because they're afraid of being offensive? There's no fucking argument as to which is more likely to happen.
And this loophole. You've given loopholes. Like, there's men in prison. I think it's like 47 biological males in California are housed in women's prisons. Some of them are sex offenders.
Most of them are, not some of them. Some of them aren't sex offenders. Because let's be real, even if they didn't go to prison for sex offenders, for a sex offense, even if they went to prison for something like armed robbery or whatnot, the moment they put on the fucking dress and the makeup, but they keep their fucking cock, and they get sent to the women's prison because it's California, once they in that prison, they certainly become sex offenders because you know they be doing some heinous shit to the female inmates.
Some of them in Canada. There's a guy in Canada that they had to pay for his boob job while he was in jail for being a sex offender, and they put him in a women's prison. Yeah.
I'm not arguing with
There's
any of that.
men who have...
Yeah, but you are, Steve. You are arguing that. When you say some dumb shit like, I was talking to a trans person and they told me the horrific oppression, you are arguing with everything Rogan is saying by acknowledging and pretending or believing, whatever it may be, that what that trans person told you was oppression. Yeah, no, you're arguing just by believing that shit.
Pretended to be women, gone into women's prison, had sex with women and impregnated them. There's men who have sexually assaulted and raped women in prison that are pretending to be women with functional dicks.
Thank you. I think that Steve impression was pretty good myself.
Man, I heard what they had to say about, you know, politicians trying to put them in internment camps and, you know.
Who's doing?
Let's take this again. It's another quick just search of the interwebs right here. Have any politicians advocated for putting trans people in camps? Harris support for prisoner access to transgender surgery lines. Under Trump, U.S. prisoners offer gender-affirming care. Trans community fears Trump's actions will upend legal No, I'm not seeing any. All right, LGBTQ nation, putting trans people in camps won't look like what you think it will. Let's take a quick look here. Putting trans people in camps won't look like what you think it will. What to watch for under Trump. All right, so this was from 2024. As the dust settles on the election, we now... Fuck off, I ain't doing none of that on this election. We now move towards the practical reality. One of my biggest questions. What will the new Trump administration do to transgender people like me? Well, we're in March of 2026, so we're about a year and a half out from this article, and fucking nothing. Fucking nothing. So, you know, good time on your timing. This aged well. It's easy to say he'll round us up and put us in camps, but it probably won't look like that. It probably won't be called camps. It probably won't be called rounding up. It'll be more subtle than that. The subtlety makes it even more dangerous because it'll be easier for cisgender people to miss it. They'll be affected too, though, so their awareness is critical for both us and themselves. So you can't even give us a quote. Hold on. Can you give us a quote of any politician saying that? Nothing here is in any sort of quotes. I'm not seeing a single... So we finally found an article about trans people being put in camps, and it is a hypothetical in which it is not happening. There's no quotes. Okay, hold on. All right. Let's see. Have any United States politicians advocated for putting trans people in camps? No major. This is ChatGPT. This is ultra leftist ChatGPT. No major U.S. policy proposal or law has been introduced by mainstream politicians to put transgender people in internment camps. There have been a few cases of extreme rhetoric, including one former party official suggesting camps and a couple of politicians suggesting forced institutionalization. Forced institutionalization is fine by me. It is fine by me. Yep, what Matt says in the chat. Put them in the box. Put them in the box. They would put themselves in camps just to play victim even more based. Leon, if we sent 5K, would you try to put the Ace Ventura... Would you try to buy the Ace Ventura butt ride? No, I fucking hate that movie. I hate Ace Ventura. I've always hated Ace Ventura. Was that home screen? What home screen? Talking this right here? Is this what you mean by my home screen? This home screen kicks ass. Fuck you.
That. What politicians are saying they should be put in internment camps?
I think that there was some kind of...
There might be one kook out there that's saying that to try to get attention. Right. There's no movement to try to put transgender people in internment camps.
Okay, well then I'll land on...
Oh, you're just asking what it was? I just Googled, I just went to the Google, like, what's it called? Like the attachment store or whatever. It's the place where you can customize your Chrome. And I typed in cute anime girl background or something like that.
Do you know who's killed more people than camps? saying that to try to get attention. There's no movement to try to put transgender people in internment camps.
Okay, well then I'll land on this.
Do you know who's killed more people than ICE this year? Trans shooters. Do you know the majority of these high school shootings have been transgender people?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, we have to understand that, like, what is more important? One person's feelings or the safety of all these women? And the safety of all these women is much more important.
Yep.
So you gotta be kind to people, but also you gotta have rules. There's a reason why there's a woman's room and a men's room. It's because some men are fucking creeps. And if you allow those creeps to just put on a dress, well, and again, I'm not saying all trans people are like this at all, but you can't have that loophole. You can't. Let's like you can't have an open border. Doesn't mean that all immigrants are murderers, and you don't think that either, right? But
don't.
some people that sneak across the border, if you don't check, are going to be murderers. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
So you have to have a fucking closed border to check, and you have to have a gender border too.
Yeah. Well, God damn it. And my only takeaway from my experience that I was relating to you is that it made me feel compassionate.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, great. It made me feel so. At the end of the day, it's all about you. It made me feel compassionate. I don't give a fuck how you feel, bitch. I don't give a fuck how you feel. Oh, it made me feel compassionate. Why the fuck would I care if your feminine ass feels compassionate?
I want to be a good.
That's good. A better reason would be it's fucking stupid to get a boob job. Don't do it. No one's gonna like you more or think you're cool because you got a boob job at 52.
I'm glad.
Don't.
I'm glad that.
How old are you now?
51.
Yeah, that's too old for a boob job.
Yeah.
Even if you're a girl.
Stop.
Unless you
really,
just got divorced, you're like, I need some new dick. I gotta go.
I'm really glad that I didn't do it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
If you were here with with two giant boobs, I'd be like, I don't know what to say to this guy.
Now let's see, because this is going pretty viral. So I've had this tabbed up. Let me refresh. Let's see what the views are at on this. Right? Let's see what the views are at on this. 68,000. That's actually lower than it should be. I wonder if Steve-O has responded since then. Steve-O. I wonder if he has said anything since this went viral. Oh, he ain't posted since December of last year. Oh, he ain't said shit. Oh, no. He had post on January 31st. Okay. Probably in his best interest, to be fair. Probably in his best interest not to say shit. Yeah. Bro, talk about taking an L. That, like, to his credit, he just stood there and he just fucking took it. Years of jackass training has taught him and trained him to just sit there and fucking take it. Hypno says, imagine people having a hard time believing the Trojan horse entered Troy so easily in Homer's Iliad. Now look at this. Fucking hell, man. Ain't that the goddamn truth? Alrighty, crew. Alright, crew. We got one more thing. It's all fake.
So, do you guys want to find out whether this is real footage or not? It's not. It's not. There we go. And I was getting ready for this, right? Because I want to show you guys. What's been going on, because this is one of the big things, is that there's a lot of people on the internet right now who are angry because they think that Elon has been going around and censoring all of the bombs and everything happening to Tel Aviv, right?
I haven't, man, usually my X feed is so political. I haven't seen any of this. There's people throwing a bitch fit that fake AI of fake war zones is getting censored because they're so fucking stupid they can't tell it's AI. Dude, before I cover anything on this channel, like, it has become part of my routine to fucking verify if it's AI. Like just on principle alone. Verify if it's AI. And it's such an easy thing to do. You check a few sources. You run it through a few other AI, asking if it's AI. You check and see what outlets have covered it. Like you do those 3 things. It takes like 5 fucking minutes. Holy shit.
That basically Elon is working for...
Did you know Roger Ebert's dying words were it's all an elaborate hoax? I didn't. I didn't even know he had final words on account of he couldn't talk at the end.
Israel, and he's censoring all of the times that Israel has blown things up. So Iranian defense has been suspended. Iranian military updates has been suspended. And so we're going to read some of these right here. And let me make sure I've got everything. Here's another one. What's up, Elon? Not keen on free speech anymore? Well, wait a minute. What do you mean no free speech? And so let's read some more of the comments and people saying this. Who else noticed that there have been a reduction in videos of the war since last night? Elon does not want us to see how Iran is smashing Israel.
This can't be real. Hold on. LB Game Stips. LB Games. Let's take a look, baby. Let's go. LB Game. Here it is. First things first. All right. 236,000 followers. Influencer, I'm sure. DM for promotions. Okay, so this sounds like some bullshit. Let's see. Account based in Africa. Connected via African app store. To be fair, there was a dead giveaway. There was a dead fucking giveaway. Watching the Capcom Spotlight right now. That sounds cool. I ain't give a fuck. Fuck Capcom. I hate them.
User Ahmed Hamdan Darling, journalist of Gaza in the Middle East, was caught finally. All of his worship turns out to be fake, and his current campaign of slop was 90% AI generated. So take a look at, let's read some of these comments. Does anyone else find it odd that Israel was reportedly hit with 50 missiles last night, but there are very few videos on it?
Maybe there's very few videos. Because it's not fucking real.
Did you notice the change on X?
Ezra, you don't understand. I hate Square Enix like I hate Capcom. You say you hate Square Enix like I hate Capcom? I hate Square Enix like I hate Capcom.
No more.
Yeah, y'all want proof? All right. This will be the last deviation. Last deviation, because I know we keep getting distracted here. Where'd it go? It was not too terribly long ago. Come on, keep scrolling, bitch. Keep scrolling. And man, I got attacked over this tweet, baby. I got fucking attacked right here. Given the staggering success of Resident Evil 9, it's hard to ignore how well-positioned Square Enix would be to revive Parasite Eve. A modern reinterpretation with an uncompromising horror tone would fit the space naturally, allowing Square Enix to reach an audience well beyond its usual core. Square Enix isn't well-positioned for anything but bankruptcy, and the fact that there are people in 2026 that would honestly trust today's Square Enix with something as brilliant as Parasite Eve is fucking baffling. Dude, fuck Square Enix. Fuck Capcom. Fuck Nintendo. These are all Japanese gaming companies in name only. They are Western audience captured agenda mouthpieces.
Videos of them losing this war. It's like the war in Iran isn't happening. It's like Israel isn't getting pounded. They don't want us to know how badly they're losing. This is the destruction of X by the Zionists. You're not being shown the videos that have captured the damage being inflicted on Tel Aviv. Just like X also blocked most videos showing the IDF bombing Gaza and harming children and civilians.
I'm going to take this back to yesterday's conversation with Leaflet. I don't give a fuck! Oh, God, they're harming children and civilians. Well, maybe these terrorists shouldn't be using civilians and children as human fucking shields. Sucks to suck. You gotta blow them fuckers sky high somehow. Look, if these children and civilians, if they all innocent and shit, well, they going to heaven. I mean, assuming they, bow and kowtow to the one true God. But by and large, don't give a fuck.
This is all by design. Selective censorship equals psyops. Someone needs to go and get some videos of Israel being pounded because suddenly my algorithm isn't showing anything. Elon turned the Protect Israel algorithm up to 11 this morning. It's not even subtle.
It's so funny, dude. Like, do you want me to... Remember how I was saying, I think it was last week during the lunch hour, that I will take opposite positions of people just out of spite if you tell me what to do or if you annoy me or whatnot. Like, because y'all know that I'm anti-Israel and I've been anti-Israel. And that don't make me pro-Palestine. I'm pro-America. Let the motherfuckers glass each other. I don't give a shit. I think Israel sucks. I think they control this fucking country. Fuck Israel. Fuck Palestine. Fuck Gaza. Fuck Iran. All of that, bro. Whole Middle East can glass each other. I don't give a shit. Now, with that being said, the more I see of these people, the more I see of these dogmatic troglodyte retards, the more pro-Israel I become just out of spite. Just out of spite. Like, oh, I see you guys talking all this shit without fact-checking a single fucking thing. Because unlike your boy, you ain't in this to learn. You're not trying to be realistic. You're not trying to understand the situation. You're just retarded. And your retardation is making me more and more pro-Israel. Congrats, you fucking played yourselves.
I'm curious that Twitter no longer shows any video of what's happening in Tel Aviv. Why is my feed suddenly only showing me videos of America striking Iran for Israel? This is seriously pissing me off. X algorithms have not been fixed to show videos of the war, specifically where Iran is hammering down on Israel and American setups. Since last evening, we haven't seen a new video. This is how Musk supports the right-wing filth and manipulates narratives.
Nacho Ninja says, no, Leon, don't be gay. Leon, you don't have to slob on Sasha's for attention. I told Leon to be gay, so now he will be gay. Well, maybe Kotaku will write an article on me now.
Last night, we found a guy in Pakistan that was managing 31 accounts posting AI war videos. All were hacked and the usernames were changed on February 27th to Iran War Monitor or some derivative. We're getting faster at detecting this and also eliminating the incentive to do this.
The irony, bro, of Ian Miles Chong commenting underneath this, saying, there are many accounts like this. Some are even based in the UK. Bro, you are in dog water, fucking Oriental land, cosplaying as somebody who gives a fuck about the United States and US opinions. Shut the fuck up, you grifting piece of shit.
So, you have an entire collection of people who have psyoped themselves into believing the AI videos of Israel being blown up were real. That's right.
And the funny thing is, there are real videos. And you want to know what the real videos show? The Jewish space lasers intercepting the missiles. That's what they show, dude. They show the Jewish space lasers intercepting the missiles. Y'all owe Marjorie Taylor Greene a fucking apology. Don't get me wrong, she's still a retard. She's still a retard. But I've been saying since day motherfucking one, and she was correct about the Jewish space lasers.
So he's upset with videos depicting gross deaths of children and women were not allowed, and the fake news videos are being taken down. That's right. And so I was saying this before, right? Is that, like, apparently they were listening, or, I mean, I think this really doesn't take it much, it's not like I'm the only person that ever thought of this. I think it's pretty fucking obvious that, when you have a bunch of people that are posting
Runaway Vagabond says, I can fix Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I'm going to read it as Marjorie Taylor Greene, because you say I can fix MTG, and I read that as Magic the Gathering, and ain't nobody can fix Magic the fucking Gathering.
Fake news constantly, that it's going to make everything look bad. The devs, damn devs, bozo, exactly. The Iran jets just shut down, what is this here? And how do they ignore live cams? Because they're stupid, And so anyway, let's go back. I'll look and show you guys some of the images. This is this is from Iran. That's later on. Let me see if I can pull up and show you guys some more of these here, because, here's one. Iranian media decided to showcase their successes against the United States. So here's Iran blowing.
Let's see if we can tell this is AI just by looking at it.
Up the United States.
Hypno's AI of three-armed Smash JT getting beaten into oblivion after losing that debate to Colin Moriarty was more realistic than that. Guys, what are we gonna do? Rights might be a mistake. Rights may have been a mistake.
Well, it looks like they've won. That's right, guys. They've won. And included scenes of a Soyuz missile hitting a battleship Yamato. Problem is, the Soyuz is a space carrier, and the Yamato sank in April 1945. So there's another one right there. Let's see if I can pull any more of these up. And where the fuck did these go? No, that's not it either. Oh, here it is. There is a whole subworld on social media that genuinely thinks Iran sunk 60 ships and killed over 3,000 soldiers.
Look, if you're going to try and spread lies, very obvious lies, then your goal should be to make them believable. If you say something like, sunk 2 ships and killed 97 soldiers, people would be more willing to believe that. People would be more apt to believe that. Yo, man, Iran sunk 2 of our ships and 97 soldiers died. Now, I'd still fucking question it because Iran are worthless. But that's such a more believable, rational number. I'd at least fact check it. I wouldn't even fact check 60 ships and killed 3,000 soldiers. Bro, that would be all over every piece of media, even the shill, evil mainstream media like CNN, Commie News Network. You gotta at least use believable numbers, motherfucker.
See this? This is, yeah. Over 5,060 Marines have died, not counting those from the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln. And this post has, it's actually not that many. That's good at least, right? And, but I've seen this circulating like 50 fucking times, right? And here's another one. The moments before Iran destroyed the U.S. Navy fleet in Bahrain.
All right. I want to see if y'all can tell this is AI. There's a very obvious thing that happens in the first few seconds. Let's go.
They just blew the whole thing up. Iran, they just figured, you know what? You've activated our trap card. It's time to just blow up the entire American Navy.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Did you guys catch it? Did you catch the proof that this was AI? I'll play it again.
Blow up the entire American Navy.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Y'all catch it?
Oh my.
Nope, not the voice. That's not it. I mean, yes, that is one way of doing it. Fair enough. There's another giveaway though. There's a different giveaway. That was AI. You have to remember, Leon, there are people who think you can rework a whole plane just for fat people. Black chick driving, black girl. Okay, y'all are close. Yeah. Look how racially diverse this happens to be. The AI will always generate some Netflix-ass shit. You have white dude, black chick, white chick. This is not like your typical get-together that would be driving in a fucking war zone.
To just blow up the entire American Navy.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Netflix-level diversity within the first second or two. Obvious AI. This is not a friend group that would be in a war-torn nation.
Oh my god.
seatbelts on. It's everywhere.
The skin, regardless of race. I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. Now, there's other giveaways too, like the voice, like Enzo said. Shockwaves like that would probably, there'd be camera movement, there'd be shockwaves, maybe even destroy the glass in the car. But even if it didn't destroy the glass in the car, you would see like shaking and rumbling and whatnot. Yeah, see, yeah, that's my thoughts. Even if the explosion didn't destroy the windshield, it would have at least caused some visual turbulence. But you didn't even need any of that. You could tell in the first couple of minutes with that fucking Netflix-ass diversity.
Parallel verse. True. AI videos have completely one shot at the third world. They're all AI. So all of these people were getting high on their supply of AI videos. They were sitting there. The X algorithm is heavily manipulated today. So the moment that they started deleting AI generated videos, all of the videos of Iran winning went away. That's crazy.
I was artillery in the military, 100 pounds of Comp B, Comp BHE, or Comp BHE, sorry if I'm not saying that properly, has more impact than what was shown in that video. I'll take your word for it.
What are the odds of that? And, like, the thing is, this was so obvious. Like, everybody knew this was happening, but for some reason, nobody wanted to say it. Nobody wanted to bring it up. So, yeah, that's what's happening. You think the IRGC paid for premium AI, or can they only make 4 videos a day? I think that they probably can only make 4 videos a day. It was a big story when we lost more jets to an ally than
I want to see the IRGC, like, forget to remove the Sora watermark. Please tell me that has happened, that they have forgotten to remove the Sora watermark.
Iran. How can anyone believe the U.S. is taking massive casualties when it isn't reported by U.S. mainstream media? Because they're stupid. That's why these people are like probably sub 90 IQ retards.
And the funny thing is, you would probably have people argue, well, why would the media report on that? The media is never honest. No, you misunderstand. If the U.S. was actually taking casualties, CNN, Commie News Network, MSNBC, all of them, they would totally be reporting on it because it's a way to make Trump look bad. If this were actually happening, they would be using this from every vector as an attack on Trump. But they're not doing that. So this shit ain't real. This shit ain't real, son.
And not all of them, just most of them. And do you think we're being exposed to less and less documentation from this war because the side that owns Western legacy and social media is winning? So let's read some of the comments here, okay? This is the cope. Well, no, it's because they're fucked up in a way. It'll be recorded history as a major turning point in world affairs. And then the ADL, which is obviously a Jew. Oh, wow.
Nosferatu. 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 How can anybody not believe we live in the best fucking timeline? This is art, bro. This is art.
Turn on the porn, turn on pro-Israel, and turn down the cats. Check Chinese media. Oh, wow. We know a war is going on when they censor the winning side and try to hide any truths coming out. Yeah, guys, that's it. And anyway, I think they were winning. We'd probably get flooded with documentation. So this is it. Musk's moderation algorithm appears directly tied to Israeli defense failure rates. So the entire idea they've invented is that Elon Musk is censoring X in order to make Israel look good.
I really need them to pick a lane on Elon Musk because, like, apparently he's a Nazi because he does the whole Nazi salute, but also he's in the pocket of all the Jews. You don't see any logical inconsistency with that at all?
That's right, guys. That's right. And so anyway, I don't even know how this happens. Why does the Western media want the U.S. to fail? because they're run by a bunch of weird freaks that are like these like communist, like anti-Western people. Like, I don't even really know. If you want me to give you a genuine answer, I really don't know what they're thinking. I think that they just don't like America. And again, I feel like there has to be like, this has to be addressed, right? It does. And I think we need to be a lot harsher on these people. But for some reason, most people do seem to disagree with me on that. And
this reminds me of a scene from a Spanish movie that relates to this. The main character tried to attack a vampire with a cross, but the vampire was a Jew, so he pulls out a swastika. Please type the name of that movie. I need to know. I got research to do.
I can't believe they've caught us. It's a mental illness. Yeah, I think that putting a lot of these people in mental institutions would help a lot. But, you know, one step at a time. Elon is playing dirty. U.S. must win the war by all means.
All right. Mary Ian 96. Also, it's a suspicious number of followers for not being verified. Mary Ian 96. Okay, it does show it's verified. It didn't look like it did on, Okay, yeah, my bad. Social media influencer, apparently. Passionate about good governments, credit analyst, finance. Dude, you're a black woman. I ain't trusting you for any tips on credit analyst or finance. Like, that's also says DM for promos. Suspiciously the same DM for promotions. Alrighty, crew. Oh, would you look at that? Account based in Kenya. Connected via Kenya Android app. Bro, I'm feeling like Captain America right now. I could do this all day. Like, holy shit. Found it. Curados de Espanto. Alright, let's just take a quick screenshot of that. Like I said, this is, it's for research purposes.
Passionate about good governance. Oh my God. Iran, Jesus, man. Iran is launching missiles from underground sites. Virtually impossible to detect beforehand. Game changer. Oh, wow. Look at this. Apparently Israel was...
Hold on. Average IQ in Iran. Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. I guess they ain't like Somalia. IQ's globally friendly range is a fourth with a score approximately of 106.3 to 106.84. All right, fair enough. Let's see if Doug gives the same response. Average IQ in Iran. All right, fair enough. I retract my statement.
Was hit by over 50 missiles last night, but you won't see any footage of it on Elon's Twitter. Oh my God, these people are so fucking brain dead. Where is this person from?
Okay, actual Iranians are pretty smart since not inbred. Fair enough. See? Again, fact checking is that easy. Aspen does it right here. Same thing I fucking did. Iran has relatively smart people. The dummies are in charge. Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. I am nothing if not a gracious host who will take my L's publicly.
Kenya. Well, listen, you're looking at AI. You are getting one shot by AI.
From what I've heard, the Tiny Hat people have the wimpiest army. No, the Tiny Hat people have the best army because they have the U.S. Army.
AI. This is unbelievable, man. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say someone's aggressively scrubbing it. So this is really what's happened, is that you've had it get so bad that these people are so delusional that they think that they're winning because they're watching AI videos. That's it. And why is it so difficult to believe that there's some censorship regarding Israel? Every country tries to push propaganda because the evidence shows that the reason why, and I'm sure some of it's happening, but these people can't perceive that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, they're not perceiving that. They're perceiving AI videos being banned and then thinking that that's censorship. That's not censorship. That's simply common sense that you're going to ban that. And, wow. Do you think when AI gets better, it could actually...
aside from having the U.S. in their pocket, oh, shit, that's like being like, oh man, well, you just don't. Guy is completely harmless if you don't count the fact that he's got a bazooka in his fucking pocket. The bazooka's in the fucking pocket.
To be used to go to war? No, probably, yeah. They're retarded. Yeah, you're not thinking about this at all. This is so smart, though. You pacify them by making them think they're winning through AI and then the entire world. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But I don't agree with that. I think that consensus matters a lot. Public opinion matters a lot. And it's important to make sure that you manage that in a positive way if you can. It's not always positive, as you're saying, but I believe Israel is censoring shit too. Well, it is censoring shooting down the missiles because they said they don't want people to be able to reverse engineer the locations of their air defense things, right? And so I think that's a very reasonable request. I mean, you would agree with me, Pike, that it's a reasonable request for Israel to say, please don't show the locations of our anti-aircraft measures so the enemy can't use it to cross-reference and then know where to bomb to hopefully find, like openings in our defenses. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page with this. The Pentagon just signed a contract with OpenAI. Uh-oh. That's big. It's an honor to be pulled up, of course. And you think they're winning until they walk outside, everything's on fire. So they are censoring it. I think that if you like, that's like saying that, that's like saying anything is censorship. I think that censorship is the idea that you're trying to say is that Israel is censoring with the goal of trying to create a false impression of the way the war is going. If they're
and see, and individuals like this guy, and to be fair, he does seem to be being rational and he's engaging in good faith. I'll respect that. I will always respect a good faith engagement. But this is the idea of all these, like, all censorship is wrong type people. No, censorship is not inherently wrong, right? Censorship is not inherently wrong. And the example I always go to, I'll always use the same one. Chat, let me know, do you want genderqueer available in schools? Do you want the book Genderqueer available in public schools for children to access? Just give me a simple yes or no. So, all right, Tomahawk says no. Jinty Maxi says nope. Keep them coming. I don't think there's anyone in the chat that's going to say yes. Zat Fuck says nope. Great, you're all pro-censorship. Good, as you should be. Jay Brain says no. You're all pro-censorship, as you should be. Censorship itself is not inherently bad. It is how you use censorship. Keeping books like Genderqueer out of children's schools, that is positive censorship. You can't be a censorship absolutist and be like, all censorship's bad. No, there's absolutely good censorship.
If they don't want to show it for defense reasons, that's very different than them not wanting to show it for propaganda reasons. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's obviously a huge difference. And anyway, I'll move past this, right? We don't need to spend all day thinking about this. But anyway, so yes, all of this has happened. There's been tons of AI, AI videos made. I'll show you some more AI videos made. Tel Aviv looking like this within 48 hours.
Oh, yeah.
You're not wrong, though. This beat kind of be going hard, son. Like...
Hey, yo, fuck my boys in Israel. Fuck them. Damn, that's right.
They fall for this? I guess. So anyway, Tel Aviv looking like this.
No, yelling fire in a crowded theater is not illegal. That's a common misconception. That was overturned by the Supreme Court a while ago.
This within 48 hours. Great footage here, BBC, in case Israel won't let you film it. Grok, is this...
You said you would also agree if I use cheese pizza. Well, here's the dealio. Because I assume that was you're using cheese pizza as like the veiled child pornography thing. It's not censorship if it's something that's already illegal. Like, censoring something that's quote-unquote illegal, well, that's not censorship. It's already illegal. However, censoring things that aren't illegal but are still objectively bad by every metric isn't like, that's still censorship, and I'm A-okay with that sort of censorship.
It's real? No. 8,000 likes. 12,000 likes. That's right, guys. That's right. Literally fucking retarded. The Kurdish forces are beginning a ground invasion into northern Iran. Really? Is that true? It's happening already? Holy shit. And wow, I'll look at that. Grok is even better. And delusion maxing, exactly. Professor Mike, and you see he's got, look at all this comment here. Brit with a big blob of Irish. No reform, God, royals, yes, Wales, Scotland, Palestine, one Ireland. Anytime that you see somebody with a watermelon in their profile photo, there's like a 95% chance that they're mentally deficient.
Now the question is it because of what the watermelon signifies, or is it because it means they might be black? Questions for later.
Okay, and this guy he's not the exception, he's the rule. So you've got another retard. Check his country. All right, guys, bets on the country. You can't bet on Pakistan. That's not fair. We have to get a second one besides that.
Alrighty. I'm going to guess. I mean, I feel like we've already seen Kenya. I'm definitely thinking an African nation. So, some Asian country. That's a good one. Canada's a good guess. I'm trying to think of what Middle Eastern or African nations have had done the most immigration to the UK. India. Okay, yeah, India is a good guess. I'm rolling with India. I agree with Aaron. Let's see.
3, 2, 1. United Kingdom.
Damn.
Okay. Well, I said you can't bet on Pakistan, so that's kind of the same thing, right? And so I don't know, guys. Maybe we don't even count that one either. And, okay, yeah, same thing.
And that's that, boys. That's that. W's, baby. W's. Calling out the retards. Son. Bro, we live in the best fucking timeline. Like, I can't even, I don't have words for how happy this shit makes me. We live in the best timeline. Be like, oh man, AI this, AI is bad, all the movies suck. It's like, hey, look, I acknowledge all the negatives. I do. But homie, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Like living in real life Looney Tunes makes my fucking day, son. It does. I love it. I truly love it. I can kick back, play video games when I see too much of this shit, drink my fucking clean drinking water, and laugh at brown people on the other side of the world that can't fight a fucking war. This is the best timeline. But because it's the best timeline, all good things must come to an end, including this stream. Because I gotta get me some grub before we do Hold My DualShock at 6:30, so in an hour and a half. Let me see who's live. Let me see who we're gonna raid. It was a good show. Absolutely a good show. Y'all are legends for sticking it out. Sorry that I was late today. Last night was a rough night. You know, I know that Hypno is live, but we have not rated Lumi in ages. We have not rated. I haven't even talked to Lum Lum. I need to check in with Lum Lum. So we're gonna raid Lumi Angler. Give my girl Lumi some love. She's a hottie with a mermaid body. Thank you to everybody that donated. You were all fucking legendary. It means the absolute wild to me. I couldn't do this without you. Guys, we are 300 subs away from the big 10K. Let's fucking get there. I appreciate the support. And until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. Raid Lumi and say Vital Idol Raid. See y'all tomorrow for Neon Leon. And I will see you tonight on Hold My DualShock.